Hello, everyone, and welcome to TJ Hates Quitters, the Challenge All-Stars 4 recap podcast here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. I am your new host, Javier. We're bringing back TJ Hates Quitters, but of course, I'm joined by the OG co-host, Katie. How are you doing today, Katie?
I'm doing so good. I'm excited to talk. I almost said Real Housewives. I'm like, I have Carrie in my brain. Shout out to Carrie. I'm excited to talk the challenge with you, Javier. I watched all 4 episodes today, as you know, so I'm all caught up and fresh. And I'm just excited to be back podcasting with you. Yes, it's been so long since we've talked traders.
Yeah, it's been so while. I feel like we did some, like multiple podcasts back to back, and then we both kind of been on a little hiatus from Silent Podcast, but we're back. We're resurrecting TJ Hates Quitters. It's been a while, but we're hopefully here to stick for the whole season. I'm enjoying the season so far. What are your thoughts, Katie, so far after watching all 4 episodes?
I'm having a lot of fun. I think I have been taking some time away from the main challenge. So it took me a little bit of time to get motivated to watch, just because it's not that I'm soured on the challenge. I just feel like we need to refresh. We need a new cast. We need to get like the Tory deals out of here. And then I'm like, none of that's happening on All Stars right now. Don't read the rumors for next season though, because you won't be happy if you're me. But we can talk about that another time. And then I started watching and I was like, I love all these people, and I'm just excited to have them back on my screen. And they make good TV. These people make really good TV. So I had a great time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've always been, since the Challenge All Stars premiered, I feel like it's been the better of all 3. The Challenge US, the main one, and this one. I think All Stars is above and beyond better than the other 2. I do agree. I did watch the last challenge season. It was not great. You do not miss anything. You do not need to go back and watch it.
I wasn't
planning on the Challenge USA 2. I thought that was a solid season, even though I didn't love.
Yeah, that was fun.
But overall, I enjoyed the season. And yeah, I'm back with All Stars. I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like this cast. I feel like they've added a lot of new, in quotes, obviously, because these people have been on the show before, but a lot of different people from the past 3 challenges, which I'm enjoying as well. But I guess we could just jump right in. Who are you excited to see in this cast, from either the new people or even some returning people from past seasons of the Challenge All Stars? Who are you super excited for?
Well, I was excited for Tony Time.
Yes, me too. Oh, yes, we can agree on that. I love Tony Time.
Excited for Tony Time. His long-awaited return, short-lived, unfortunately, as we'll talk about. But it was great to even see him. I think he gave great TV, even for like the very short time he was with us. Yes. Flora was so exciting for me because just as an OG Real World fan, it was just great to see her. And I just love Tina and Veronica and Rachel. I wasn't always a Rachel fan back in the day, but just like seeing the 3 of them together, it just brought me back so much nostalgia and so many feels. And of course, Leroy and Cam. I love Leroy and Cam. So I'm loving this cast so far. It's a good mix. It's a good mix.
Yeah. No. If anyone's watching this live, my name is Cara Maria Hive.
Yeah.
I feel like it's controversial to like Cara Maria. I'm not sure why. I don't know if she's been.
You're not?
No, I genuinely don't know. I haven't. The last time I've seen Cara on the challenge was like the season she did with Devon. How many ever years ago that was?
I don't even remember.
But it's been a while. So that's the last time I saw Cara. But I don't know. I've always been a big Cara fan. I feel like she is one of those like female challengers who's like is very like headstrong, and I think she's amazing at the competitions. And I love seeing that, like, she's able to win by herself as well. And I don't know. I just really love Cara Maria. So this season she's serving for me so far. When we get to episode 4, we'll talk about that.
We will talk about
that episode. But like you mentioned, I was super excited for Tony. Tony's a mess always. I love Tony because he's always a mess. He's always.
I love Tony's Real World season. Did you ever watch it?
Yes, I watched Tony's Real World season. A nightmare,
mess.
But such good TV.
Yes. I have on my little byline thing, "You guys ready to potty?" Because that was like in the commercial back in the day for Real World. This was Skeletons. That was their season, right? And it was Nicole who was on the season with us, who she makes me, she gives me the ick so bad.
I don't like Nicole.
But since those commercials back in whatever 2000, I don't even know what year, 14, 15 maybe. Every time I see her in my brain, I go, "You guys ready to potty?" And I can't get it out of my head. And I can't. So that's where that's coming from.
I hear you. It's so true.
It's my Roman Empire.
But some other people I'm excited to see. This might also be controversial, but I was really excited to see Ayanna back.
I mean, she's great TV.
But she is just good TV. We'll talk about some of her moves this season that I didn't love because it affected another player which was Janelle. I really like Janelle as well.
Yeah, Janelle too.
But yeah, I love Ayanna. She is literally just here for the TV. Like this woman does not care. Like you said, I'm a big fan of Tina. She makes good TV. Tina, Veronica are a great little duo. You know who I also really like? I really like Jasmine. She might not be the best at the
I can't wait to talk about Jasmine.
But Jasmine is amazing TV, and she does not back down from anyone. Like even on episode 4, I love Cara, but we'll get to it. But she like ate Cara up, and I love
she was killing. I was laughing so hard in episode 4. She was killing me. She's so funny.
She doesn't back down from anyone, and I love that about Jasmine as well.
Same.
So yeah, so I think we have a really good cast. A lot of people who are like I don't really remember because I was like on and off with the Real World.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
There's a lot of OGs, a lot of people who I think we were talking a little bit about it before we went live too, like didn't have a lot of screen time yet, but are in the house, which is interesting. So
this leads me to another question.
Okay.
And this might be controversial because you said it's one of your faves, and I personally really like this challenger. I love Cam.
Yes.
But Cam is the first non-real world person on All Stars, and All Stars was kind of supposed to be just for the real world OGs in my opinion. So I don't know, Katie, I love Cam as well, but I want to hear your thoughts as also a Cam fan. How do you feel about Cam being on this season?
You know, I think that Cam has proven that she has the stature and like the clout to be an all-star. Like she's a queen. She's with Leroy, who's amazing. Like they're just like a power couple in the challenge world. So I'm happy to see Cam however they want to give me Cam. I think there are a few other non-real world people that I don't want to see. Tori Deal being one of them. Please get her. Do not, please. I fear for the Challenge All Stars 5, but I'm okay with it. I feel like Cam just transcends the shows. She's just an icon. So I'm happy to have her.
Yeah, I mean,
the rest you can keep them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see Cam, but like you said, I feel like it opens up a can of getting all these Are You the One people on this show. God forbid they start adding Big Brother people to this show. And
no, I can't. That I don't want at all. Are You the One I'm okay with? Like, I'm not like okay with it, but like they've been around in the challenge world for long enough. Like, I wouldn't be mad at an Amanda. I wouldn't be mad with a Nelly T, even though like, you know, we don't approve of Nelly T's drunken antics in his car and almost die. I mean, and he's also an amputee now. So I of course he can be on, but I think it's going to take him a little while. But I don't want to be seeing any of the War of the Worlds people. I don't want to see anybody international. No shades to international people, but you're just not my original people. Like I want to see only MTV.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if this opens a can of worms for Are You the One people, I think that's where we need to stop it. But you know, I feel like in the long term, we'll see what if the All Stars continues. I do fear that they're going to start eventually throwing. By the time we get to like All Stars 8, it's like, okay, who do we have left? But
I know. I'm honestly shocked we haven't seen like a Kyle, and I don't want a Kyle. Like Kyle's good TV, but like put him on the regular challenge. Don't give me a Fessel. Please do not give me a Fessel. Like I can't.
I like Josh, but no Josh.
Yeah, give me Josh on Reindeer Games. I'm good. So, keep him there.
I feel like they brought Cam back because like Leroy was like, I'm not doing the show without Cam.
I think that's probably
we'll ever
true.
See a season with Leroy again where he's not with Cam, you know?
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
So, and then honestly, we'll talk about Leroy in the challenge so far because I think Cam has him on her back. Let's be honest here.
Yes, I think so too.
But all right, so we can just jump right into episode 1. I guess I can just quickly go over the format of this season since it's a little different than the past All-Star season. So this season they're competing for stars. So it kind of reminds me of like when people were competing for skulls a few years ago on the OG challenge. And essentially there's 3 stars for the females and there's 3 stars for the male challengers. And you know, you need one of those stars to basically be in Run TJ's final. So on the first episode, the way it worked is that there was a daily challenge and the top 3 women and the top 3 men who won that challenge won the stars. And then moving forward to win a star, you basically have to compete against you have to win either an elimination, so you can then steal a star from one of the people who already has a star. And we also learned throughout the episodes that you can win multiple stars. So let's say, like for example, someone wins a female challenger wins 2 stars, she can give the star to another one of the female competitors. But you can also steal stars from the men if you want to, and give it to other men. So we haven't seen that happen yet. If something's going to happen like that, but there does seem to be like there will be some politicking eventually because the challenge loves the whole politics aspect of the show. But yeah, so basically you need a star to run the final.
Yes.
So on episode 1, we start with the first challenge, and it's called Reach for the Stars, and it's pretty much an individual challenge where everyone is has these 8 boxes in front of them with star-shaped pegs, and you have to collect the puzzle pieces one at a time, fit them into their corresponding pegs, and the first woman and the first male to get all the puzzle pieces and raise a flag at the end will get a star. So the top 3 players will get a star, and then the bottom 4 players will be in the losing group, and they'll be up for elimination. And then there's like this middle group. So essentially the middle group is the one who actually votes people into the arena. The winners don't actually have a vote, which I thought was very interesting. How did you feel about that? That the winners?
I thought that was interesting too, because I think it really impacts. Obviously, the less numbers you have, the more your vote counts, right? And I think especially in episode 4, we really saw that come into play. So I really like it. I think, you know, I like to see everybody have power and like the vote across the whole house, but I'm not mad if it's like a smaller group and it gives me more drama. So I like it.
Yeah. At first, yeah, I agree. At first, I was like, I didn't really understand why they did it, but after watching the first 4 episodes, like I agree, it makes it nice because it makes it like the whole middle group. It kind of makes it kind of a smaller group voting, so that can add a bit better for the the whole conversations about who we should vote in. Because once you have like too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen, I feel like that doesn't serve as well for good TV. Because then you don't really have to make as hard decisions.
Exactly.
When it's a small group, you kind of really, and we see that in episode 4, especially. You really see that people have to really think about the relations in the house. And I feel like it might even add another layer. We really haven't seen this yet, but I was thinking maybe you wouldn't want to win. Maybe you would want to be in the middle sometimes, just so you do have the opportunity to vote someone in. I don't know if some people would play that kind of strategy, but I do think it adds another strategic layer if someone wanted to play it that way.
I like that.
I really haven't seen that come into play.
I like that thought.
But yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't be throwing votes here.
Yes, no throwing votes.
Yeah, which I like.
Which exactly. I really like that too. And I honestly liked the whole skull thing when it happened in the OG show, because it makes the people who kind of just coast to the end by not going into the elimination kind of have to go
CT.
in.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like that twist. Do you like when they have to go in? I feel like that can be a little controversial of a topic.
I don't really have a strong opinion either way on whether or not someone needs to go into an elimination to get to the final. Like, I'm okay if you're playing either a good enough game or a bad enough game, as Jay and Jenna did in their first season, where Jay was like, I didn't go into elimination once. I'm like, bro, that's not a compliment. Like, they knew they could beat you in the final, and they did. But I think what I didn't like about the Skull season, the first season that they did it, was that like everybody was just giving each other turns to go in and get their skull. And I'm like, no. This is not what we should be doing. And I was very happy to see that when it seemed like people, like when Janelle was offering to go in to get the skull, everyone's like, we're not fucking doing that. Like, we're not just gonna like allow people to go in. So I'm like, good, we're playing the game here. We're not just gonna like give everyone their turn, which I like. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's it does work, I think, and it does add an interesting layer to the game as well. I
won't take anything away from anybody who's like has a really good social game and doesn't get voted in.
I agree. As long as it's the social game and it's not like you said, like you're just coasting to the end because everyone thinks they can beat you. That I don't think is the gameplay. It's like when people take a pawn in Big Brother to the end. It's like, okay, Victoria, you made it in season 16 to final 3, but let's be real, we know why you made it there.
Yeah, you're a goat. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this challenge, it was fine. I wasn't particularly interested. I honestly am never really that interested in the daily challenges.
Me neither. And I also, Javier, I don't know if you listened to back when Carrie and I used to do this, but I am rules blind. Like my brain shuts off when they explain the rules. So I could be paying complete 100% attention. And then the second that TJ or anybody in a confessional starts explaining to me what the rules are, my brain shuts off. So like it happens to me on every show. It happens to me on Survivor. It happens to me on Big Brother. Thank God Big Brother. I mean, not thank God Big Brother gives me the rules 800 times in the DRs, but like I have no idea what's going on 99% of the time.
And that is okay. I don't feel, same thing when we talk traders. Like, I don't think you're missing much by not really understanding what's going on here. But yeah, so honestly, I don't really have any notes from this challenge about anything exciting happening. I don't know if you wrote anything down.
I didn't write anything necessarily down about the challenge itself. I did write I took a couple of bullet points that, I will say, I am not a Cara fan, as we talked about, but I did see her win for the women, and I was like, that feels right. Like that Cara took it home for the women. But then I immediately regretted feeling that way as I continued to watch the show. But I did have one brief lapse of judgment on my side and said, like, you know what, I feel good about that. Because you're right, she is good at the challenges. Like she's very athletic, she's very strong, she's a great competitor, but it's just like everything else about her I'm not a huge fan of. But before the challenge, we got like a little bit of everybody talking to each other and like going into the house. And I had a couple of things that came out of that I was really shocked by. Like Tony's been engaged for 5 years.
Who's been engaged?
Tony. I'm like,
oh yeah, he did.
You got engaged on the reunion and you're not, and that's it. Like you never did anything after that. It's like you left the show and then that's it. It's like you stayed stuck in time.
That is, yeah, I agree. That was definitely, I was like, what's going on here, Tony?
Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to win and I'm going to pay my taxes and then get the better catering package for my wedding. I'm like, if you haven't done anything in 5 years, I don't think this is your one shot. Like you're really putting it all on winning the challenge for you to get the better catering package. Like, okay.
And we saw how that turned out. So
yeah, not great.
Yeah,
you're going to be waiting, Alyssa. Sorry, Alyssa. And Jay and Nicole are both New York firefighters. And as two New Yorkers, Javier, I'm worried for us if these are the two that we have to count on to save our lives. Like, what is life?
I mean, so I agree. So I've never been a big fan of Nicole. Jay, I don't really remember having any opinion on him. But yeah,
Jay is a flop.
Oh, he is a flop? Okay.
Did you see the season with him and Jenna?
Maybe, but for a while.
They talked about, so they didn't send it was, I don't know, rivals? I don't remember. But
oh yes, that's what they were talking about.
Where is it where Johnny Bananas stole the money, maybe?
Yes, you're right.
Or no. It was when Sarah, not when he stole the money, when Sarah put him in and then he retaliated against her and stole the money. I think that was the same season, but they didn't put them in. They were layups. And then he quit because he couldn't drink the drink in the final. Yes, and TJ mercilessly roasted him. And Tony was like, you didn't practice eating at all? And he's like, I could drink fish eyes or whatever it was every single day. And then I might just have to eat like a bull testicle. So what's the point? I was like, this guy, I can't.
It was Battle of the Exes 2, by the way.
Battle of the Exes 2. Thank you. Yes.
But yeah, yes, I do remember that. So, I mean, I don't have high expectations for Jay.
He's a loser.
But Jay, like you said, these two they have to be from Staten Island. I don't know where they're from, but
I think he's from the Bronx, maybe. He dated Jenna.
Yes,
he was on The Real World. He dated Jenna, and my friend, who's a big Real World fan, like lived on the same street as Jenna or something like that on Long Island. Yeah, so I think he's from the Bronx, but Jenna was from Long Island, and my friend used to see him like on their street or something like that.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is who our lives are in the hands of everyone who's listening.
Jenna also, like, you need help with your taste in men.
Jenna, I feel like she used to be on the challenge a lot. What happened to her?
But she's pumping out babies.
Oh, okay.
She has like 3 kids with Zach or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jenna. Yeah, Jenna was on a lot of seasons. I remember seeing Jenna all the time.
Barbie Beast. I miss Jenna.
Yeah, Jay and Nicole. We'll see what they do. Nicole has her own drama on the show, which we'll get into as well.
Yeah. Also, Tony pulled the wrong flag. He pulled Veronica's flag, which I thought was really funny.
That was funny. I thought that was funny. Typical
Tony gave us
just show up and like do whatever he wants.
I know he gave us good TV for the whole time he was on. He was very funny.
Yes. Hopefully we see more Tony if he returns.
I hope so too.
I also think Tony was pretty solid at the challenge. Like he used to make it pretty far. So
yeah, he is an eater. He loves eating. He's great at the eating challenges.
He just has to make it to that final because there's always that part of the final.
I know.
All right. So in the challenge, we get our winners who are Brad and Cara Maria, which I'm not shocked by either of them. Brad was a beast on each season of All Stars that he's been on. So I'm not shocked to see Brad continue to beast. And like I said, I think Cara and Rachel, I think, and then maybe Laura as a third are probably the 3 strongest women on this challenge.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm not shocked to see Cara win this as either. And like you said, Katie, I mean, I think she devoured. Like I think she beat everyone. Like she was the first person to finish.
I think so. Yeah.
The men and the women. So good for Cara for that. And with that, Cara and Brad are safe from being voted in, and they also are the first 2 star winners. And then 2 other people get stars from 2 other women, and 2 other men get stars as well, because there's 3 stars in total that were handed out this episode. So we get a star for Avery gets a star from the women, who I honestly did not know who Avery was. Katie, I don't remember. It's Real World Portland, I think she was on.
Yes, and she dated Johnny. What is his last name? She had like a boyfriend that was on the show with her. And I think that's why she was like, I haven't done this before without a partner, because she's like really on her own. Because she was always connected to him. I don't remember his name, Johnny something.
Okay. And then we have Rachel, of course, who, again, not shocking that she won her first star either. She's also a beast. And then in the men, we have Adam win a star. And Adam's like an OG.
Yeah, he is an OG.
So it was cool to see him back, because he hasn't been on the challenge in a while. And then the 3rd star is won by Brandon. I think it was Brandon, right? Yes. Brandon. Brandon won the 3rd star. Any opinions
Johnny
on Brandon?
Riley.
She dated who? Joey Riley?
Johnny Riley, who's also on The Real World Portland with her.
Okay. Got it.
No, I don't really have any. No, I'm excited. I mean, I think I have more thoughts on Brandon later in episode 4. Yeah. Exactly. But as of now, no, I'm just open, and I'm excited to watch everybody at this point in my journey. And
then for the bottom men and women, we have Leroy, Derek, Tyree, and Steve. And then the bottom women are Tina, Veronica, Jasmine, and Flora. So then everyone else is in the middle. And those are the people voting. So the people, the 6 star holders are not voting. It's just everyone in the middle who's voting. So we'll see how that turns out later on in the episode. So now we move on to the part after the challenge. Let's see. Anything interesting happened there, Katie, before elimination?
I didn't take any specific notes about it. But you know, I always just like to watch everybody socializing and hanging out. The one thing I do feel like I noticed about this house specifically is the slide.
Oh yes, the slide.
That slide seems like a hazard to me, because the pool is so small. Yes. It's like a tiny little pool. I don't know. It seems like it's a little dangerous, and it's like surrounded in stone.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I'm like,
someone just go too fast and just go right off the
Yes, exactly. Or like land on somebody. Yeah,
I agree. But they always have really nice houses, so I feel like that's like. Sometimes I feel when I watch a show, Katie, that these people come back because like they get like a vacation and like a nice house.
Yeah, I would.
Like, I feel like some people just know they're never going to win, but it's like, whatever, I got to check and I get to have
you're getting paid, you get your appearance fee, you're hanging out with people, you're partying in a house. Why not?
Yeah, why not? So, and if you get lucky, you make it to the end and possibly win. Some people have won that way. So
exactly.
Something that I did say was interesting was, and you mentioned it earlier about Avery and how Avery feels like the most isolated from everyone. And she even says that she doesn't really have any relationships with anyone here. She doesn't really know anyone. And then we get some interesting DR from her that she wants to work with Cam. And I feel like this is where we begin to see like kind of everyone wants to work with Cam, which I think is Cam's strong suit in the challenge in general. She always has that, really the social game down. Like Cam, everyone for some reason always wants to work for Cam. People want to fall on the sword for Cam, which we see in the later episodes. Like if Cam says, boom, everyone's going to do it. And I think that really benefits Cam, obviously, but by extension, it really benefits Leroy.
Yeah.
Who, he is in the bottom this episode, and he does consistently seem to be in the bottom.
Hey, what is going on with Leroy?
So I feel like when I remember Leroy on the OG challenge, like he used to be a pretty good competitor. He always made it to the finals. So I don't know what's going on now in All Stars, because I feel so far he's been kind of flopping. But
maybe his bananas not here. I know he does. I want to see Cam play Big Brother.
Oh my God, Cam would be Cam would be amazing on Big Brother.
I think Cam would be a Big Brother winner.
I agree. 100%.
She's so good strategically and socially. Like and even just like watching her talk about even just like later in the next few episodes about just like the voting and when it's time to make a move. I'm like, oh, I love this strategy from Cam. She's so good.
Yeah, I agree. Cam is very good at this game. And it works. We also see in this episode, which I thought was interesting for later on when we talk, Ayana also talks to Cam and Leroy. And she's like, Cam, oh my God, I love watching you on the challenge. Like I really
She's like, I'm looking at a winner.
Yeah. So it seems for now that Ayana wants to work with Cam, which we'll bring up later about messy Ayana. How that turns out. But yeah, we also get that in this episode. So it was interesting to see what happens in like episode 3, I think. So
yeah,
we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, weird pivot.
And then, you know, we hear some other relationships. Derek and Ryan, they're besties. We hear of Tori. Not Tori. Whoa, not Tori. Let's keep rocking.
Oh my God, no.
Veronica, Tina, and Rachel are a trio. They're like besties outside of this game. So they all have each other's back. We have, you know, we start basically hearing about a few of the alliances in the house. So I thought that was interesting to see kind of the dynamics. They finally touch upon the whole Nicole and Laurel mess. So apparently Nicole, if anyone doesn't know, Nicole and Laurel used to date and apparently had a pretty bad breakup. And they kind of seems that neither of them really moved on or really dealt with it as mature adults, which weird, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, they're still not. I don't know if you see what goes on social media in like present day, but they are dragging each other like savagely. Maybe not like present day like this week, but present day as in like a month ago, maybe like even before the show started.
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are messy. I think they were also on X on the Beach together too. Like they dated, they broke up, they went on X on the Beach. I think they got back together maybe on X on the Beach. I don't really know the timeline of their relationships, but it's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. And this so far in these 4 episodes is still a mess if you ask me.
Anything having to do with Nicole is a mess.
Yeah.
She's a mess. Yet she saves people's lives. Like make it make sense. I don't understand.
You know, she's a very professional woman, hopefully. So her real life, whatever, shambles, but hopefully in her work job.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully she can separate the two. Yeah.
But all right, so then we get to the voting. The only thing that I really remember from this voting that I thought was exciting is that there were a lot of votes thrown all around, which I really enjoyed. Like everyone was pretty much like voting kind of how they wanted to. And, you know, I really like to see that because I feel like a lot of time in the challenge, it's very much about, you know, who either you have a past relationship with or who you're in alliance with. But it seems like we didn't really get those vibes in the first, at least in this first episode. Eventually we do in the later episodes, but I did like that. It was kind of like everyone was like, this is who I want to vote for. So this is who I'm going to vote for. Did you have any thoughts? I think that's always what's
No, I mean, same. I think it's always fun in like the first challenge or the first voting deliberation in any game. It's fun because it's like it's so early that those, even if you have past relationships, you're still like trying to feel the people out and, you know, decide where you want to go and who you want to work with, who you can trust. So it's always kind of fun to see where people's instincts send them in the first, you know, episode or two before like things really start forming. So I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's very interesting. But in terms of the noms, we get Tyree and Steve are voted into the arena by the middle group. And then we can move on to the elimination. I don't think anything really happened after that. But the elimination in the arena is called...
yeah. It's a little bit slow.
Yeah, it started off a bit slow, exactly. So we move into the elimination, the arena game. It's called Catch a Falling Star. And essentially... it's a challenge where both players, they throw a bunch of balls in a pit and 12 of each of them has to get 12 balls with a star on them and deposit them into a tube one at a time. And it's all thrown into like this pit of like water and you kind of just have to scramble and look for it. And the first player to get the 12 balls is the winner. Here we also learn, which is another aspect of the game, is that when you win an elimination, you know, you can steal someone's star. But also the winners, if they don't have a star, if you would have win the daily challenge, you can also go in and take one of the people up for elimination spot and compete for a star for yourself. So I thought that was another interesting aspect of the game, and hopefully we do see that come into play. So far, everyone seems kind of scared to jump in, especially episode 1. You don't have to because the people with the star just had them. But we haven't seen it in any of the 4 episodes really come into play, and I hope we do get to see it because I can feel like that can be some good TV as well.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think as people start getting maybe a little more desperate to get the stars or even towards the end of the game when there's not that many opportunities left, I think we're definitely going to see it. Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, in this challenge, you know, it begins with Tyree kind of leading the pack. It really seems like Tyree is washing Steve, but then Steve gets this very smart idea, which I wrote down and I really wanted to mention because I thought it was genius. He basically, instead of getting 1 star and just going to put it right away, he stashed his stars. And we see that being very beneficial to him. And that's kind of how Steve ends up winning. But he stashed the stars kind of like a beaver stashing wood or like squirrels stashing their nuts. He stashed all his stars and he would just go one at a time. And I thought that was a really smart idea just because I feel like you expend less energy because you're not going back and forth. getting a star, jumping back in, looking for one. You kind of just spend all your time in the pit, locate all your stars, and then slowly go put them in. So I thought that was actually really smart from Steve. And I wanted to highlight that because I thought that was really interesting gameplay from him.
Yeah, I really like that too. It's a good strategy for OTEV too.
Yeah,
we see everybody always like gathering the answers to OTEV and then like going through their stash. It's put the energy in to start and then like, you know, save it. I think it's good.
Yep, 100%. And I also thought it was interesting that people, honestly, Steve was not getting much help, but everyone was kind of helping Tyree. There were multiple people saying, Tyree, there's a star here, there's a star there. So I thought it was even more impressive that Steve was able to bring out the win with not really any help from any of the other competitors. I have my thoughts on how I feel about people helping each other.
I was just going to ask you what your thoughts are about that, because that's a very controversial topic.
Yeah, I honestly don't like it at all. I know if I were in their position, I would be so annoyed if I was in like the peanut galleries just trying to help someone out. And like, if I don't have those relationships yet, especially when we see people like, you know, who don't have those strong alliances, I guess in the All-Stars is a little less, you know, impactful. But when you go on to like the OG challenge, there's people who've done like 8 challenges with each other.
Yep.
And they just are always going to help each other. So it's not really fair if then it's your first challenge and you don't have those relationships yet. So I really don't think it's fair. I get why it happens, but I don't really love it. What about you, Katie?
I feel the same. I used to not really care too much about it just because it was always, I mean, that was like a mainstay of the challenge is like the people watching and cheering and helping. But I feel like it's just gotten a little egregious in the more recent seasons, like that season with Michelle and Jay, where they were trying to talk to each other and everybody was like screaming over. I mean, like that is just not, it's not fair. It's just like, you know, it's interference in a way that it just makes it not fun. So, I mean, I guess that kind of leads to some of the importance of the social game in the show and the game. But like, you're right. If it's your first time or you have like an enemy from a past season that has a lot of social influence like that, that sucks for those people.
Agreed. But yeah, so like I mentioned, Steve ends up winning and Steve ends up taking Brandon's star. I guess in this instance, do you think that was smart, Katie, or do you feel like, you know, it doesn't really matter because it's so early in the game who star Steve takes and he doesn't really have a relationship with many of the people left? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think I would be taking it from Brad to start. And who was the other one that had? It was Brandon,
Brandon, and Adam.
I mean, I guess he could have taken it from Adam and it maybe not had too much of an impact, but it felt like, at least to me, Brandon's probably the least connected in the house because it seems like Adam is good with like Veronica, Rachel, and Tina. So Brandon feels like the most inconsequential person to take the star from, I think, at this point. Yeah,
I agree with you. And I think like I said, in terms of Steve, it doesn't seem like he has a lot of alliances. So no one's really going to be mad at Steve because he doesn't really have a relationship with these people. And you have to take the star, right? I mean, like you have to, these stars, I feel like are going to be changing hands so often that no one should be getting attached to a star early in the game because it just feels like we're seeing them go all over the place. And some people we'll see don't even have to win a challenge to actually get a star. So might as well just take it from anyone, right? Because anyone can have it. So you shouldn't be that mad if someone takes your star. No, just go back in and win it, I guess. Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's episode 1. Any last thoughts before we move on to episode 2? No, I mean, I feel like this was a good setup episode, but I do feel like in these first season or these first episodes of these seasons of the challenge, the first few eliminations are a little slow because it is usually the people who don't have great alliances or aren't great at the game that end up going in. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good setup episode. I think I really liked the intro in the beginning and seeing everybody chat, but the rest of the episode was like a little fluffy for me, but it continues. It's a slow burn, but we're getting into a really good place. Yeah, I agree. I feel like pretty much every episode from here on out has gotten slightly better than the last one. So yes, I think that's good momentum to keep moving forward. Yes, totally agree. All right, so then we can jump into episode 2. So we kind of jump into episode 2. We see they always do cute. I really like that. I actually wanted to talk about the cute little recap they do. Yeah, like every episode, I love that. They have one other challenger like recap the episode, and I think that's really cute. So I really like that they do that. I think that's a nice way to recap the episodes instead of having like some unknown voice or have TJ do it. Like just have someone from the actual show recap it. So I thought that's really nice. I love that. All right, so then we jump back into the house. We start the episode right away with Nicole and Laurel drama. We see basically Laurel and Nicole are like, we don't want to talk, we don't want to interact, blah blah blah.
This is when they're in the kitchen, like awkwardly ignoring each other,
cooking around each other. I'm like, is this serious? Like
go to another room.
I don't know, Katie. I don't know how much time we want to spend on this, but I just don't understand how two grown adults can have this kind of breakup and like not at least try to be cordial. You don't have to be someone's best friend, in my opinion, but like we're living in the same house. Like let's at least like be able to say hi, bye, excuse me, how are you? You know? I don't know.
Two
what
are
do you think,
teenagers mentally, like both of them. Both of them. Bodies. Yes, it's kind of wild, and it just gets like more immature as the episode goes on. I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't be in that kitchen with Nicole. If I'm Laurel, I would be like, okay, let me know when she leaves and I'll come in. Like if that's how I feel, and I really can't. It felt in this moment to me, it felt like Laurel was there like on purpose to get Nicole's attention. Like she's playing games, and I'm like, oh, I can't. Like I really like Laurel. I think she's just wild and kind of crazy and a mess, but like I enjoy her because I think she makes good TV. But like I can't back you on this, Laurel. I can't do it. This is not it for me.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I mean, especially now that you told me that they're still beefing online.
Oh my God, they are beefing.
2023, actually. So it's been like
a long time ago.
Year, which I also thought was great. That I felt like the first like challenge, All Stars 2 and 3 aired too soon after each other. So I like that they took some time. Because I know coming into season, I was already excited. Once I heard the cast, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good season. And I like that we had like some time from the last one. So, but yeah, to hear that these two are still not over whatever happened between them, it's a lot for me to see two adults act this way, but it is what it is.
Messy.
Anything else before we jump into episode 2's challenge that happened? I don't have anything here.
No, the only thing I had, I mean, this is where I wrote my little bullet point about the slide seeming like a hazard, because I think in the beginning of the episode they were all going down the slide. But and I just wrote that Tina, Veronica, and Rachel are just like, they're icons and legends, and I love seeing them. Still, I love seeing them together. It's just like, I don't know, I love it. It's like, it's how it should be.
I agree, but this was going to be a question I was going to ask later, but we might as well talk about Rachel, Tina, and Veronica now.
Yeah.
How do you like? So I like them as a trio because I think Rachel, she doesn't bring the good TV that I love, but
yeah.
Tina and Veronica, I really enjoy them. I think they give good TV. But as a trio in the game of the challenge, I feel like Rachel is kind of back again. Same way that Cam is carrying Leroy. Like these two are gonna ride Rachel's coattails, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like when we see what happens in episode 4, but prior to that, do you see a path for Veronica and Tina without Rachel? Because to me, I don't see it.
No, not really. I think maybe for Tina. I think Tina could do well in eliminations, probably. I think back in the day, they were all more formidable opponents for other people. Like Tina was definitely kind of a beast in her day, and I think she still could be potentially. Veronica, same, but we know, I mean, I don't even think it was a recent season anymore, but the season that she was partnered with CT, he was like yelling at her for not working out and stuff. Like we know she's not keeping up on the endurance and stuff like that. She's not like, she's a little bit like Anissa in that way, where she keeps coming on, but she's like not really doing the work in between to like get back in shape. And I'm not talking like body wise, I'm talking about like stamina and endurance. So I don't know that, but I think strategically, I'm laughing at how they keep talking about how bad Tina is at the game. Like it's making me laugh. So yeah, no, I don't think either one of them has a shot other than Rachel. Rachel does the challenge workouts on YouTube. I don't know if you've watched any. I saw the one that she did with Joseph from Big Brother, and someone else was on it too. I don't remember. But like she's keeping up. She's keeping up. She's a badass. Yeah,
Rachel definitely I agree with you. I was interested to see more of Rachel than I unfortunately am of Tina and Veronica in terms of just the challenge, because I feel, like as much as I love good TV, we haven't seen her in so long, and as much as I love good TV, it's hard for me to root for someone who I know has very little chance of winning, and at least Rachel could have won me over because I haven't seen Rachel in so long, and I know she was a good competitor, and I know she had a shot at winning. So that's just how I felt about the trio. But I do agree, it is nice to see them together though. That is
And Rachel gave really good TV back in the day. I mean, we haven't seen her in a long time, but I think she's obviously calmed down a little bit. But she was a little bit of a mean girl back in the day with Veronica.
Yeah. Yeah. Veronica, I remember Veronica more than Rachel. Veronica definitely had she was feisty. Let's say that. Veronica.
Yes, she was feisty for sure.
All right. So then, other than that, I guess we can move into the daily challenge really briefly. This challenge this week was called Car Sick. It was played in 5 teams of 4 and 1 team of 3. And essentially, one team at a time had to spin in a van above the ground. And then you'd have to memorize these like radio ads that would give you certain numbers and locations. And then you had to do math when you got downstairs to unlock some puzzle pieces. And then you had to build a puzzle. Is the best way for me to explain it. So
yeah, this seemed so confusing. Yeah, I think you got it. And like the math part for me, I was like, how are these people even keeping this straight? Like, this is crazy to me, the math.
I agree. I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is a lot.
I also just feel like, why are we continuing to put cars hanging about? Like, I don't know. The challenge is so. They love a car stunt. It's just like, I mean, we saw trucks too. And like that,
exactly.
Was episode 4. I'm like, oh, God, why do we have to keep doing this? Hanging off trucks and suspending cars above the thing. It's like kind of annoying.
They love people like just jumping onto trucks or hanging from the sides. Like you said, like every challenge has multiple, not one. Every season has multiple instances of this. I guess for the adrenaline, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I will say something that I am liking about this season that I prefer to the OG challenges that I was going to talk about a little bit more in the arena, but we can talk a bit now, is I do feel like most of these challenges are very fair. In terms of which I sometimes feel like in the flagship show, they're not as fair for people who are just not either for age reasons or for fitness reasons. But I feel like here, and TJ actually keeps stressing it multiple times. He says these challenges are designed for anyone to win. And I really am getting that vibe. So I'm really liking that. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on that? I just feel like it's great to see like very equitable challenges. In a lot of these shows, we don't see that, like Big Brother. So
I totally agree. I was thinking the same thing about the arena and the eliminations. Like it feels like they're definitely more equitable than I'm used to seeing. So I'm happy about that, especially for All Stars, because it just feels like we have such a wide spectrum of different like ages and experience on the show. Like when they're showing everybody's name or at the bottom, it's like one daily challenge, and then someone else that's like 5 champion was in the whatever. Like Cara is like a 2-time champ, and then like Leroy's a 5-time champion or a 5-time finalist. I'm like, this is a broad spectrum here. Like, let's make it fair for everybody.
Agreed. So we could jump right in. We have multiple teams here. I kind of don't really want to go over each team. Like it is, I kind of just want to talk about anything interesting that I saw in the teams. I don't know if you agree with that, Katie.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So of course, I think the most interesting team, and actually the winning team, was they were the light blue. No, it was the yellow team, which had Laurel, Jay, Nicole, and Tony. And of course, why did I find that team interesting? Again, because now you're pitting Nicole and Laurel in the same team to have to work together. So I thought it was just to watch the dynamic, and I thought it was great how they genuinely did not talk and somehow were able to win this challenge. So I'm going to give props to them for that. Like, I don't love Nicole, but like props to that team for able to win the challenge with having 2 competitors not speak at all.
I know. And Laurel really, I felt like stepped up and took charge and was like, you know, ordering people around, which like, you know, listen, you need someone to take the lead. So she seemed like she did a great job. So
yeah, definitely. So that was a good little dynamic there. The only other thing I wrote down is that the green team, which was Cara, Ace, Brad, and Avery, they were all so bad at math, like compared to all the other groups. They could not do any math at all. When I first saw the group, I was like, wait, this seems like a pretty strong group. And then when I saw them actually
physically, mentally,
mentally, there was some lacking there.
Yeah, something is lacking.
But a lot of the teams were honestly really bad. I honestly, while watching, did not know who was going to be at the bottom.
I would have been really bad too at this. I think, like, even just watching it and trying to listen to like the ads that TJ was saying, I was like, "What's happening?" And you're spinning in a car above the ground. Like, I thought it was an interesting challenge, but this would not have been for me.
Yeah,
most of these are not for me, to be fair. But like this one would definitely not be for me.
I feel like this one just had too many moving parts, like too
Yes.
many spinning up in the air, radio, math, puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. They want to make these things challenging, but like we could have taken out one part, maybe the spinning.
I know,
part.
like, do we need an equation?
Yeah.
Like, can it just be like get the number and then find the thing that matches the number and that's the combo? Like, does there also need to be a math equation as part of this?
I agree.
Yeah, a little
we
too
did
much.
not need all of that.
No.
But yeah, other than that, we get our bottom teams. So the people, so essentially same thing. The winning team, they're all safe, and they can go down to an elimination. Any of the people who I mentioned earlier, Nicole, Laurel, Jay, and Tony, they can go in if they want to win a star. And then the bottom teams, we have the peach team, which was Tina, Steve, and Adam, and then the blue team, which was Jasmine, Derek, Ryan, and Janelle. And then this is where the show started getting interesting for me. Right after this episode with my girl Ayana and Janelle, and this is where the drama really begins for this episode.
Yes.
So these are our bottom people, and so we go back to the house, and right away we see that Janelle is essentially asking everyone just vote her in so she can go in to get her star. How do you feel about that strategy, Katie?
Hate it. I hate it. I mean, I understand why she's doing it, but as a viewer, I don't want to watch this. Like, this is what happened when we had that bunker season when everybody was going in for the skulls. It's like everybody just sat around in a circle on the couch and they were like, okay, well, I haven't gone in to get my skull yet, so like I'll vote in. Everyone's like, okay, we'll vote you in. Like, no. It's not, this is not how this works. Like, we're not all besties that we're gonna be like, okay, you can go in this week and then I'll go in next week to get the star. There's only 6 stars, so great, you could get it right now, but you're not going to keep it. So like, there's no way you're going to keep it. Everybody who has a star is going to be a target at some point, or it's going to get stolen anyway. So like, it's just not a strategy that's going to work here.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I would hate that to be the precedent of you know, like I like Janelle, don't get me wrong, but I don't like that strategy, and I wouldn't like that to be the precedent. Like every week, it's like you said, that's how it was with the skulls, and that's another thing where like if you want to call it social game in quotes, but basically pretty much the person who has the most friends in the house is gonna, when they want to go in, they were able to go in. So I'm glad that it didn't work out the way that Janelle wanted to, even though I don't love the outcome of it either. But yeah, I agree with you. It's not a good strategy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I give Janelle credit for trying, but again, like, it's not like you go in, you get a star, you're good, you can make it into the final. Like, you have to keep it. So it just feels like in the second elimination, the first girls' day, you want to get your star, and then you feel like it's done and over with. That's a little presumptuous to me. But I do really like Janelle, so
yeah,
I just don't agree with her here.
So that was Janelle's strategy. And of course, Ayana is one of the voting people. And Ayana hears this strategy and she goes around to the house and starts telling people that Janelle saying she wants to go into the arena with Jasmine. And we as the viewer and everyone else who was in that room know that is not true. Janelle just said you can throw anyone in. I don't care who you guys pick, but just make sure I'm one of the 2 people you vote for. So in this instance, Katie, I have to ask you, I love Ayana, and I'm, you know, I'm sad about the outcome, but I'm glad she did this because it gave me good TV. But do you generally think that Ayana misheard Janelle, or she really, because she was very much doubling down that she did not say that is what Janelle said, you know? So how do you feel about Ayana in this whole situation? Is she just I
mean, I don't know. I don't know what was going on here, because Ayana also was like, now she's using Jasmine as part of her strategy and part of her game. Like, she was really doubling down. I don't know really what to think. I mean, Ayana, thank you for being you and making good TV, but I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something we didn't see.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Because I feel like last episode last week, but like, wasn't Ayana in the DRs also telling us that this is what happened? So like, why is she lying to us too? I feel like that's what was really throwing me off. I feel like
you're right. And I feel like I saw tweets that I didn't read because I didn't want to get spoiled, from Ayana being like, this is what happened. I'm going to look right now. I'm going to look for Ayana's tweets as we continue talking about this. But there were definitely tweets about this. I don't know if it was about this situation or the Cam and Leroy situation, but Ayana was definitely trying to clear some hair on Twitter.
I mean, yeah, Ayana was doubling down that this is what happened. And, you know, this is another reason why I like Jasmine, because eventually Jasmine does confront the whole situation and say, like, is this really what happened? But just so everyone gets a timeline, this all happened. So every episode, you know, they kind of go out for drinks, and during the drinks portion is where Ayanna starts spilling that Janelle wants to go for Jasmine, and then Janelle starts getting frustrated. And then the next day in the house is where Janelle confronts Ayanna, and Jasmine also confronts Ayanna and basically asks, all right, so like, what's the tea? Like, did you really say you wanted to come for me or not? So that's where we have the actual real argument happen in front of the whole house. And this is again why I was saying this is why I love Jasmine. Jasmine does not care. Like, Jasmine did not back down. Jasmine was like, okay, let's get to the point. I'm gonna ask the people what I need to ask. And this is what I love about Jasmine as a reality TV person, that she really is not afraid to step up to anyone. So I love seeing Jasmine just straight up ask Ayanna and Janelle, like, what is really going on here?
Jasmine is an icon. And like, she keeps getting asked back, I feel like, for these random, you know, all-star seasons. And sometimes I'm like, that's interesting that we're seeing Jasmine like as a repeat returner. Yeah. But she's amazing television. Like, she's really great TV. And she, exactly like you said, she does not back down. She doesn't care. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't blink. She just goes for it. And I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Something else interesting that happens beyond the Ayanna, Janelle, and Jasmine drama is that we see the first instance of Tina trying to play a social game, and she essentially starts to threaten people, saying, "Don't vote me in because then you're gonna have Veronica and Rachel mad at you as well." How do you feel about this strategy, Kate?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot for the second episode, the first girls' day. Yeah. You're throwing these other people's names. I mean, like, yes, they're your friends, but I don't know. You're really just making a lot of assumptions here and signing people up for things that maybe they're not totally in on. I don't know. It was messy.
Very messy. And this is the first instance we get where, like, Veronica, we got a DR of her saying Tina is bad. Tina
sucks at this game. Yeah.
And she is right. Every time that we see Tina politic this season, it backfires on them, and it ends up not working out for them. So Tina should let Veronica and Rachel do the talking is the vibe that I'm getting. Let Veronica. I think let Rachel do the physical, let Veronica do the strategy, and you just be funny. Yeah, be funny. Give us the good TV.
Make some friends. Be funny. Yeah, that's what we love.
Drink a little, because drunk Tina's hilarious. You know, it's great.
Exactly. Everybody in their friend group has a purpose.
Exactly. You know, we don't all have to share.
You're the funny one.
Define our roles and help each other get to the end.
Yes, play to your strong suit.
Exactly. Another interesting little tidbit we get some talk from Avery, and Avery is again discussing how she feels very alone in this game, and she kind of doesn't really want to ruffle any feathers. How do you feel about Avery now? Episode 2, she has a star now, so she's definitely nervous that someone's going to take her star. But I personally don't like when people play the scare game. Like, especially for me, Avery seems like she seems a lot younger than most of the people in this house. She seems very fit. Like, why is she so afraid of playing the game? You know, I don't understand. Is she afraid that she's going to lose in any elimination? Because I feel like she seems to be a fit woman who can probably win a lot of these competitions. So why is she playing this scared game as opposed to someone like Cara, Laurel, Rachel? And that's what I appreciate about those female players. They don't play the scared game. They're like, whatever, if you want to throw me in, throw me in. So what do you think it is for Avery?
I don't know. I think Avery has always been like a little quiet. And like she said, she's always had a partner. She was with Johnny Riley back in the day. And she did also meet him on The Real World. So like maybe she just feels like out of her comfort zone. I don't know if she ever did a season without him. I don't remember, but I don't know. I think for someone who's not as ingrained in the challenge culture, like Rachel was a mainstay. Cara was a mainstay. Yeah. Cam is like the new school mainstay. Like, I just feel like these people know who their friends are. They keep relationships. Cara, I feel like, is a person who lives her life for the challenge. Like, she doesn't live in real life. She lives in challenge world, just like Tori Deal lives in challenge world. She doesn't live in real life. So I think Avery probably feels, if I'm Avery, I would feel intimidated by like the challenge culture in the house and how everybody knows each other and goes way back. Even though I'm sure she knows these people, she probably doesn't have those relationships. So maybe she's just still trying to feel it out. But I agree with you. I don't want to see the scared game, but I do think I probably in the beginning maybe would lay a little bit low myself if I were her. Cause like, I think she's still trying to find her people, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely understand the want to lay low. But I guess for me, the thing is, I kind of just wish that she would take this as an opportunity now to like socialize more. And that's what I'm not seeing from Avery. And I guess that's kind of what is not amazing about her game to me so far. Like, I would love to see, like, Avery's in the side room talking to these two women, and she's talking there.
Yeah.
In episode 1, she says she really wants to work with Cam, but I haven't seen her try to make those moves to work with Cam, which would be an amazing ally. Like, if I walk into the challenge as what I feel like a newbie almost, I'm gonna want to work with Cam. Like, that's the person, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I just hope we get to see that eventually from Avery, that she is really going out of her way to socialize and really build bonds, because that's how you win the challenge. The challenge is really based on that, almost probably more than your ability to actually win the competition.
Yeah.
So to get to the end, you really need those social bonds. It's really hard to win out on the challenge. It's very hard.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose eventually. You can't. It's like almost impossible to win every single time. So yeah, you definitely have to build those relationships and do it early. You could be like Wes and do it before you even get there.
Exactly.
Get in those Instagram DMs.
Do what you need to do, right, to win.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
All right, so then we move on to the deliberation, which we also get some very interesting television again from Ayana.
Yes, we do.
So everyone is deliberating, et cetera, Leroy is in the middle group as well, and Leroy and Ayana start to have a little bit of beef in this episode, because Ayana, and I agree, Ayana literally was just going on and droning on and on about who she wanted to vote in, about before she even said a name, she was just droning on about why she's voting for the person she's voting. And Leroy is not having it. Leroy was like, I'm sick of this. Like, okay, Ayana, give me a name, stop speaking in riddles, etc. So I thought that was really entertaining. But how did you feel about like this instance of like Leroy stepping to Ayana and saying, Ayana, get it together? Do you think he should have done that? Do you think it was good on his part as gameplay?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, I think it seems like everybody at this point is starting to be like, Ayana, what the fuck's going on? And then especially in the next episode, everyone's like, what the fuck is going on with Ayana? So I think it's fine for Leroy that he did this. It was also hilarious. And then I think in this moment, is this when she was like, Roy Lee? Like, she was going back about this was a great exchange. Leroy just had no patience, and it was just so funny to me.
It was, because Ayana's just literally talking in riddles, and then she says something really funny. She says, don't consider me the grocery store where you could just come in and get whatever you want, when she basically started how Janelle is trying to say, just because you tell me to do something, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know, Ayana always has some good one-liners as well. And then all of this is at the end, she basically ends up voting for Jasmine anyways.
Yes, and Leroy's like, you said you weren't voting for her. Yeah,
exactly. Which we see that comes up in episode 3. We'll talk more about Jasmine and Ayana, because I think Ayana crossed the line a little bit in episode 3, but we'll get into that when we get to that episode. But yeah, at the end of it, after all the talking, the back and forth, pretty much Ayana talking a lot, the two people they decide to vote into the arena are Janelle and Tina. And so we get to the next day, and Janelle is unfortunately breaking down. We see this a lot on these type of shows, on the challenge and on reality shows. Someone's words are kind of manipulated and used against them, and they unfortunately are not built for this. I don't know if that's the best way to say it for Janelle, because I really like Janelle. Maybe she's beyond the need for this back and forth drama of the challenge. But yeah, how did you feel about Janelle, throwing in the flag? Do you think she should have? Would you have in this situation? What are your thoughts?
No, I don't think she should have. I don't remember who had the confessional, if it was Veronica or Tina or somebody who's like, if you come in the challenge, like, you deal with or I think it was Cam, actually, who said, like, come in and you deal with, if the people you don't like, you deal with them as part of the game. Like, you take them out of the game. You don't quit. But, if it was really impacting her mental health or whatever, I'm not going to knock her for that. But this is a podcast called TJ Hates Quitters. And I'm upset we didn't get a little bit of a TJ, or maybe did he really say much about it?
When he got to the arena, he just said Janelle left, which I was shocked too. I wish he would have said a little bit more. Yeah.
I was sad to see it. I mean, Janelle made it to the final with Darrell and All Stars 2, and almost won. So I'm I just, she knows what to expect on these shows. So I'm a little bit, because she's been on somewhat recently. So I was a little bit surprised, but whatever. Do you? Sucks to see it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like when someone quits. And like I said earlier, I was excited to see Janelle. And what also bothered me kind of was that Janelle knows Ayana's antics. She literally saw, I think on All Stars 2, she saw Ayana's antics.
Yes, and she said in the
So
first episode to who's she talking to? I don't know if it was Avery or Nicole. I think she's talking to Nicole and was like, I don't know about Ayana. Like, you know,
yeah,
and it's like you knew to expect it. And it felt like Janelle had friends in the house
yeah,
or
people
like
wanted to
people
like
that was supporting her and they wanted
yeah.
her to stay. So I don't really know.
Yeah. Maybe, like you said, maybe there was more going on in her personal life or something
Maybe.
because she really allowed Ayana to get under her skin that bad. The other thing for me was like, let's be serious. I know no one really believed Ayana. Like, I love Ayana, but everyone in this house knows Ayana just says shit. And Janelle should have known that they weren't going to take her seriously. But, you know, it is sad, but I guess it is what it is. And Janelle decides to quit. So
Bummer.
will we see Janelle again? I don't know. TJ hates quitters,
I'm actually surprised we saw her on this because she had a lot to say about the final that she ran when Johnny and MJ won.
Yeah.
Because I guess there was some trickery. As we know, the producers love to do some trickery in the finals where like the locks were broken or something like that. And I guess she thought that her and Darrell should have probably won or something. Was a little bit nefarious with how the ending. So I was actually surprised to see her again because she was pretty vocal about how unfair that situation was.
Maybe they gave her a fat appearance fee. They said, Janelle,
listen, good. Get your check. Get your check.
So yeah, she still got her check. So good for you, Janelle.
Yeah, good for you.
If we do see you back and you quit again, that will revoke my liking.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll give you one quit.
Yeah, you get one.
If this show's not for you, don't ever come back. That's my opinion. Like,
yes,
it's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But don't come back on the show and keep quitting. That would piss me off.
Same.
All right, so we still do go to the arena. This week's challenge is called Cheat Codes, and essentially, it was a very interesting challenge, another interesting one. And essentially, each of the two women would get a giant video game controller, and they must press one of the buttons to reveal a cheat code on another screen, and then they have to replicate that code. And the first
on their controller, right?
Would win. Yeah, on the control would win. So as we know, Janelle said no. But however, Tina is still in the arena. And interestingly enough, the winners are allowed, as I mentioned before, the winners are allowed to come down to the arena and win their star. So in this episode, we had Laurel and Nicole, who don't have stars. They could have come down and competed against Tina to win their own star, but they say no. So what ends up happening is that by default, Tina is announced as the winner of the challenge, which, I mean, good for her. I don't see how else Tina was going to win a star.
Right. I don't know.
And then Tina decides to take Avery's star. Thoughts on taking Avery's star? Is that whose star you would have taken from Rachel? Obviously, she's not going to take Rachel. And then Kara's the other option and Avery. So how did you feel?
I think I probably would have taken Kara's star.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, do you want to make an enemy out of someone strong, or do you want to take it from someone at the... Yeah, I guess at this point, it does make sense for her to go for Avery. But it just feels like the easy route to me a little bit, and I want to see something a little more exciting. So I would have liked to have seen her go for Kara, but I think realistically, it makes sense that she didn't.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It definitely is the easy route. Taking it from Avery, who... you won't ruffle any feathers. Avery herself has said multiple times that she doesn't really have a bond with anyone. No one's gonna get mad at you.
Right.
You don't really want Kara mad at you. I feel because then you're afraid that Kara's gonna come down and compete against you, and Kara would probably beat Tina in pretty much anything.
Yeah, probably. Tina is strong. I will say she's strong. Like, I think in the next episode's elimination, she probably would have done somewhat decently, depending on who she is against. So I think like Tina could legitimately beat Avery in something strength-based. But this was an interesting, like, I'm curious if you think Laurel or Nicole should have gone down and gotten the star.
I 100% would have gone down and gotten the star from Tina.
This seems like a kind of easy elimination.
Yeah, like you just have to press a button, read, and then type it onto the controller. Like,
right.
I would have definitely gone down. And it doesn't seem like Laurel and Nicole really have a relationship with Tina. So it's not like it's like, obviously it would be like obviously Rachel, Veronica are not going to want to eliminate their friend, but Laura and Nicole don't really talk to Tina, it seems, or have that close bond with Tina. So why not go in, and if you have to eliminate her, boohoo, like you get your star.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I would have gone down personally. I was kind of shocked that neither of them did.
Yeah, me too. I would have liked to have seen it. Plus, I kind of wanted to see this elimination.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like a fun challenge. I like video games, so seeing like a video
Yeah, I was
game
interested.
inspired challenge seems fun.
Yeah.
All right, so that ends us episode 2. Any last thoughts before we move on to the next episode, Katie?
No, let's keep it moving. Episode 3.
See what messy Ayana does in episode 3, the star of episode 3.
The star of episode 3, indeed.
All right, so we move into episode 3. It kind of begins with everyone just around the house. We get the first picture of Cam's child. We get like a cute little confessionals from Cam and Leroy talking about being new parents. Their baby is adorable. The baby is so cute.
Yeah, I love them as a couple. They're so cute.
That baby looks like Cam.
Yes,
like, whoa, this is Cam. Leroy's genes did not fight because it straight up looks like Cam.
No.
But it is such a cute baby. And you know, Cam is just talking a little bit about her struggles because she is still pumping as well, pumping breast milk to send to the baby. I do wonder if the baby's like nearby. I don't know how this works, but it's probably the baby's nearby.
I kind of was curious about the same thing. Like, is the baby in a hotel somewhere with them? Like, who's watching the baby? Where's the milk going? Yeah, I had the same question.
Yeah, because if she's taking out the breast milk, it's not gonna last long. You know, it's not they're gonna ship it. I think this year they're in South Africa. So the baby's probably nearby. They probably just don't have access to the baby. It's probably with someone's parents or something. Probably. That's my thought. And then the production just goes and gives them the breast milk. But yeah, Cam is talking about that. She talks about how like it's actually taking a toll on her, like having to breastfeed all the time. And it's like really, she mentions, which was a very vulnerable moment for Cam. She mentions that, you know, if there does come a point where she, you know, because women's breast milk, sometimes you can't produce the amount that you need to produce. And if she feels like the challenge is interfering with that, she will leave the challenge. Which I thought was very vulnerable and very
big celebrity Big Brother.
Yes. Oh yes.
Did you watch Celebrity Big Brother season 1?
Season 1, yeah. That was a crazy speech though.
Yes, it was. Yeah. But we've seen it before. Yeah.
We have, you're right. We have. So we hear that aspect of it from Cam. And then we get a very interesting tidbit. I didn't know that the whole Rachel, Veronica, and Tina trio were actually good friends with Ayana. We see some interesting conversations where that trio is basically telling Ayana, all right, you're being a little bit messy. Like, you kind of might need to calm down. Stop, you know, trying to ruffle feathers so much because people will not like that. So how did you feel about that? Did you know that these women had a bond already? And did you think that it was an interesting, you know, coming together of these women?
I'm trying to think about what season of Road Rules Ayana was on and if she was on the season with Veronica. I don't remember. I know Veronica was on Semester at Sea.
Ayana was Semester at Sea. Yeah, they were together.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think like they probably, I mean, obviously they go way back. So I'm not really surprised, but I am surprised that we didn't see it in the first 2 episodes more prominently. But maybe they kind of edited it this way and saved it a little bit for us.
Yeah.
But I always forget, like, Road Rules wasn't my biggest. Like, I was definitely more of a Real World girly than a Road Rules girly. But first of all, they should bring back Road Rules. I feel like that would be really good if everybody was living in an RV and like traveling along. I want to see a reboot. But I do feel like their closeness of the Road Rules people, which it's just so different. You're traveling in an RV and like trying to earn money, whereas the Real World people are just like living in a house, working real jobs and living their lives. So I just feel like those people are probably just like generally more close knit anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't know that they were on their original Road Rules season, so it makes sense. And I mean, I guess it's nice of them. I just don't know if I would attach myself to Ayana. Like, Ayana's like
I don't think I would.
In my opinion. So I would have been like, girl, good luck. But you know, it's sweet of them to try to give Ayana some tips. But knowing Ayana, we know she's not going to listen, and we see how this episode goes. And she definitely does not listen at all to their tips for help.
No, she does not.
And then another thing that happens here, which clearly me and Katie are very unhappy about this, we see that Tony, Mr. Tony Time himself, has to leave the show.
Yeah.
Apparently something's going on in his real world life, and he has to leave the show. We see him say goodbye.
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I wanted to know what the tea was.
I feel like we deserve to know. Yeah, we deserve to know, Tony. We waited so long for you to come back. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, very sad. He says goodbye to Nicole, and they were on their real world challenge. They were on their original real world season together. So I didn't know they were close, but I guess
they're like besties
because they were So they've been besties.
They're challenge besties. I don't know if they like are real life besties, but they're definitely close.
Yeah. And then we see Tony has to leave. Very sad. We'll miss you, Tony. Hopefully he comes back.
I know, I hope so.
And we actually get a full season of Tony time and some more Tony mess.
I know, he's such good TV. I'm really upset that he's gone already. I was so surprised to see that. I was so sad.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Tony time is up, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, some other people's times will be up by the end of this episode as well, but we'll get to that.
It's true. It's true. Yes, it's true.
All right, so that's kind of what happens before the challenge. Then we go to the challenge, and of course, someone leaves. They have to be replaced. So Tony is replaced by Cyrus. Yay, this is actually Cyrus's third challenge All-Star season. Any thoughts on seeing Cyrus come back?
I love Cyrus. I mean, like, you know, he is who he is, but I love him and I like to see him. I'm always happy to see him. So whether he's here for a good time or a long time, it's all good. I think he's a good vibe, so I like him.
Yeah, I agree. I like Cyrus's energy. I really enjoyed him on his first two challenge All-Star seasons that I saw him on. I like when he had his alliance back then with like Nehemiah and all of them. I remember I was rooting for them hard. With Lateri and Nehemiah, all of them. So it was nice to see Cyrus come back.
Is that the one where they had the song?
Yes, I loved that.
I hated them.
No, I loved
the song. I was
such a big fan of them.
I hated the song. Oh, yeah.
I understand.
I do love Nehemiah, but
I was just rooting for them. So anything they did, I was like eating it up. But yeah, so Cyrus comes back. All right, so now we can jump into the daily challenge for this week. It is called Domino Motherfucker. So this is played in male and female teams of 2. So the teams must line up 10 large domino pieces from along a whole little like row, and then the dominoes need to connect from the same number of stars on each end. So if one end ends in 6, the next one has to start in 6. And then they have 2 extra dominoes, which will not fit at all. So if you put those in, you basically have to like kind of start from scratch or start from wherever you put those in the incorrect place. And then the first team to line up on their 10 large domino pieces is the winning team. And then the last 5 teams to finish are going to be in the losing group. And then everyone else is going to be in the middle group. So yeah, just any thoughts from just the actual challenge itself? Would you have wanted to do this challenge, Katie? Were you interested in watching or partaking in this? Do you feel like this would have been a fair challenge?
I have to be honest with you. I didn't really pay much attention to this challenge specifically. But no, I wouldn't have. I think this is the type of challenge that would like kind of drive me a little crazy. So better than me.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we're 3 for 3, where I'm like, this one's not for me.
Eventually, we'll get
one maybe. I mean, yeah, we'll get one. I think the first one was probably out of the 3 so far would be the one I would be like, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This was because I feel like if I got to the point where I put in the wrong piece and I had to just keep running, it's just that would have really frustrated me. So I wouldn't have loved this challenge either. I do think it was interesting, however, and I don't know how you feel about this, that they got to pair themselves up. Is there anyone in particular who you would have wanted to be paired up with if you had that opportunity? Because usually they're given their pairs. So
yes,
for me, obviously for me, when I wrote down, unsurprisingly, I wrote Kara. I would have loved Kara on my team.
Oh, well, we know that. We know that. Who would I want it to be with on this? I don't know. Someone smart. Who's smart? Maybe Adam. He seems like he's smart.
Adam, maybe Ace.
Maybe
Ace seems like he could do a good job as well. You know who
Ace is someone who I feel like we keep seeing him on the side. Yeah. They just like flip to Ace and they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, Ace is here. But I don't feel like we've heard him say a word the entire time.
Very much been I don't even know if background is a word. Whatever's behind the background. That's
yeah, what Ace is. Exactly. Yeah, he's barely there.
Watch Ace.
I'm just like looking. Maybe Ryan. Maybe Ryan is Ryan smart? I don't know.
You know, I would not want Leroy. I'm sorry. Leroy's a nice guy, but
no, hell no. Hell no. I know. We love Leroy, but no, I would not have chosen Leroy. I would not have chosen Brad for sure.
I would not have chosen Nicole.
Definitely not.
Laurel.
Hell no. Hell no. If I could choose anybody in the challenge world to do this with, it would have been CT.
Fair.
CT's got a brain. Yeah.
No, what I would have
But he's not
chosen
on the
what
show.
I mean, I couldn't because Wes is not.
Oh yeah, or Wes.
Wes would have
Yeah.
been. Wes is a genius.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know who would
Yeah.
have been really amazing? I know at this, John A. John A would have eaten this challenge
Yes.
up.
John A
I
is
was
so
about to say,
smart.
these
I
people
love
are
John A.
lucky that John A is not on this season because
Yeah,
John
John
A
A would
has
be
built
wiping
her
the
past 3
floor.
All-Star season. She won 2 in a
Yeah,
row,
she's
and she
amazing.
almost won the first one. So they should be counting their blessings. There's no John A this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think John
She
A would
was,
probably be my
yes.
pick.
If they didn't have a single winner in that first one, or if they had a male and female winner, she would have won 3 in a row.
Exactly. So
she's an icon.
She is. She is. She took a break though. Good for her. Because 3-peating is hard. And let her take a break, and then she could come back and win All Stars 5 or 6.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So nothing in particular that I wrote down that's super interesting to me from this challenge. I don't know if you wrote anything down, but we could just move into the winners.
No.
Adam and Avery win. So your pick of Adam would have been a good pick.
My pick of Adam. Yeah.
And they win. So they win immunity from being put into the arena. And of course, they can also go down. And Avery, for example, who just lost her star, could go back down and get her star back. So we'll see if that comes into play later on in the episode. And then for the bottom people who are possibly up for elimination, we get Brad, Rachel, Leroy, Flora, Cyrus, Ayana, Kefla, Tina, and Veronica's also in the bottom as well.
Big group
in the bottom. A lot of heavy hitters there that can be voted in. So I was definitely, when I saw the end of the challenge, I was very interested to see how this would turn out, especially with Leroy in the bottom. We know that Cam is going to try to politic him out of the bottom. So yeah, I was actually very excited to see how the deliberations would go for this episode, and they did not disappoint for me.
No, they did not disappoint.
All right, so then we can jump right after the challenge. We go back into the house, and right away it begins with the Ayana mess. So Ayana, I actually forgot. I think it was Brandon who overheard her say. Brandon and Jasmine were talking, and they overheard Ayana say that it would be a smart idea to split up Leroy and Cam. And as Brandon and Jasmine are discussing, they're basically saying like they don't really agree with that mindset, and they are gonna rat out Ayana to Cam. So right away, I was in this moment, Katie, I was scared. I love Ayana; she's messy, but I was scared for Ayana. I was like, especially after episode 1, she said she wanted to work with Cam. Like, how did you feel about this moment?
That's the weirdest part of it, is that she really was gassing up Cam, and then to just flip like this. And listen, do I disagree with her thought that it would be good to break them up? No, but it's too early. I think it's only the 3rd elimination. It's I think we got to keep that in our pocket for a little bit before, and like still let the house shake out, and who's working with who, and are people, backstabbing anybody else. Leroy sucks this season, so you're gonna have other opportunities. Like, don't stress it. It felt a little too premature for me, but I don't disagree that it's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things for me that it's like, it's an amazing shot to take, but it's too early to take this shot. You're gonna have another opportunity. There's literally been 1 male and 1 female elimination. Like, breathe, Ayana. Like,
just take a beat. Yeah,
exactly. And everyone already is kind of growing sour of Ayana. So this is kind of, in my opinion, becomes like the nail in the coffin in Ayana's game, especially and you don't want Cam as an enemy. I would not want Cam as an enemy in this game.
I would never.
So she really picked the wrong person to start spreading rumors about.
Yeah, to me, it feels like if you're going to take this shot, you need to be careful and be self-aware enough to have the right amount of influence. Make sure you have the votes. Don't just start saying stuff just to say stuff. And, you can't go for Cam, and because you're not, even if you're taking out Leroy, you're going for Leroy and Cam has so much social capital, and you have close to 0 social capital. Like, you have to know that this is not going to work. Like, you just have to wait for the right time. You can't do it too early and then make an enemy out of them, because you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Which,
surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah, so Brandon and Jazz are talking. I don't remember who tells Cam. I think it was Brandon. I don't remember if it was Brandon or Jazz.
Remember.
But yeah, they go up to Cam and they said Ayanna was talking messy, how she wants to split you guys up. And Cam says, all right, well, I'm going to confront her because that's why we love Cam, because Cam does not care. She will boss up to anybody, no matter who it is. So I love that as well. So we're going to get ready for that altercation. But before we get there, I do think I want to talk about something that I thought was very interesting, is that we get like a little bit of backstory about Ayanna. She starts talking about her kids and her family and how she's talking to Laura, I think, actually. She's telling Laura like she really wants to stay longer, like she really wants to compete, et cetera, et cetera. And for me in this moment, again, I'm going to keep reiterating, I really enjoy Ayanna, but it is really giving, girl, you just kicked Janelle out the show by being messy. So now you want us to give you sympathy? That's how I felt watching this. I'm like, I don't feel bad for you, Ayanna, because you kind of you pushed Janelle out of the show, and now you kind of want us to feel bad that you're being messy. I don't know. What did you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's definitely giving a lack of self-awareness completely across the board with Ayanna. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
So that was interesting to see from Ayanna. I mean, I feel for her, of course. I want her to succeed, but you know, you saying that after what you did to Janelle is just a little hypocritical to me. So.
And I feel for her because in real time, she is fighting cancer in real time. So, you know, shout out to Ayanna. Yeah, shout out to Ayanna. We hope she gets better. Yeah, I know. I don't know if she's in. I know there were some GoFundMe's going around, and I think when she was tweeting the other day, she did say something like she had just gotten back from the hospital. So get well soon.
Well, good luck, Ayanna. I hope she gets better, and hopefully she is in remission and things are on the up. Because I would love to see Ayanna again. I love her on this TV, regardless of who she goes after. I think I'm always gonna be I just love good TV at the end of the day. These people don't affect my life. So
yes.
All right, and then from there we move on to Cam confronting Ayanna, and Ayanna starts to spiral. Basically, she is basically saying that she never said that, and whoever said that, tell me who said it, because I'm going to confront them. And Cam doesn't want to tell her, of course, because, you know, you don't want to spill the beans of people who are giving you information. So Ayanna starts to be like, oh my God, who spilled this? Who spilled this? Who spilled this? And then she picks the fight with the wrong one again. And she picks a fight with Jasmine, who, like we said,
Jasmine's seen some action this season.
Yes, already. And every episode, Jasmine has been... And not even by her own fault. Every time people keep pulling Jasmine into drama. So props to Jasmine for trying to stay out, but people just keep messing with Jasmine. And like I said, she's not the one. And this is where Ayanna, to me, crossed the line a little bit. We got a DR from Jasmine saying how, like, outside of this house, Ayanna and Jasmine are really close. And Ayanna has helped Jasmine with a lot of personal stuff. And Ayanna decides to bring that into the game and start saying, Jasmine, oh my God, after all I've done for you, how dare you like try to ruin my game, blah, 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 blah. And to me that left, I love Ayanna, but I think this to me was where Ayanna's kind of crossed the line a bit. You didn't have to mention that you and Jasmine are close outside the game, because at the end of the day, to me, this is always a game and we don't really need to be bringing in those personal things, those personal relations you have there. So what about you, Katie? How did you feel about that?
No, I agree with you 100%. I think if you're doing something for someone that you care about in your life, regardless of how you know them, it shouldn't then be used as leverage later. Like if you're doing it and then you're using that as leverage later, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, whether it's a game or not. So like, I'm so not down with that. Like, don't help me. Like you're actually, I would rather not have your help if you're going to use it against me later. So I think, yeah, no, I don't love that. I think that crosses the line regardless of if it's a game or not, but then especially to bring it in a game and use it as like a manipulation tactic. I do not like that at all. Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't like that at all. Like same page as you. And I'm glad that Jasmine was like, listen, that is our life out there is what it is, but this is inside of this game. And this is what you did. And again, this is why I love Jasmine. She just said, this is what you did. And you know, Ayanna has to deal with the consequences. So shout out to Jasmine again for that instance. From there, we move on to Rachel again, trying to console Ayanna. And for me, what I wanted to talk about this was, it seemed like Rachel believed Ayanna. And I'm sitting here like, do you actually know this woman? You believe that this is not what she said? That's kind of what jarred me when Rachel seemed to be like believing her.
Yeah, the judgment is weird here. Like, it was definitely a weird vibe because it's like, I don't know. I'm good being your friend. I'm not going to like ditch you if you're going through a hard
Yeah,
time in a game or not in a game, but I will keep it real with you and be like, you know, you gotta
exactly.
check. I mean, which they did, but I don't know. It did. You're right. It seemed like she was kind of siding a little bit with Ayana, and like,
Yeah,
it was weird.
yeah, same. Like, I don't know. For me, the way I would have handled it would be like, listen, Ayana, I love you, but we know you sometimes get involved
Yeah,
in
you
mess,
can't be doing that.
and you can't be doing
Yeah.
that. And listen, you did what you did this episode, and you might get thrown in, but just be prepared. You know, that's I kind of would give them more of like a pep talk type of thing.
Yeah.
Because
Clean it up. You
yeah,
got to clean it
exactly.
up a
Just
little
clean up
bit.
your game. That's a perfect way to put it.
Hmm. Yeah. Clean it up.
Yeah, so we get that little instance, and then we get some more very interesting conversations with Rachel and Kara talking to each other, and
Yeah.
they basically develop this game plan almost where they're basically saying, let's try to help each other out in this game.
Yeah.
We both have stars, so we're always going to be targets, or as Kara coined, stargets.
I have so many thoughts about this like rhyming star with everything. It actually drives me crazy. I think it's the cringiest thing I've ever seen on this show. And there's a lot of cringy shit we've seen on this show. And like, this is taking it for me. Every time she really thinks she's doing something here, especially in episode 4. And every time I hear it, I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I can't.
I hear you. Definitely airs on the corny side. Let's say that.
Corny as hell.
Very that. But yeah, so Rachel and Cara are basically talking. They're saying we're kind of not how to play a defensive game, and let's kind of have each other's back moving forward. And I thought that was a smart gameplay. That's kind of, I think, how I would play the game. I would want to work with the people with stars as well. I don't know. Do you agree with that? That they should try to help each other out?
I don't. No, I think it's so early. And like we've been saying, like the stars are going to change hands. It's just naturally going to happen. There's only a few of them. They're not unlimited stars. Not everyone's going to have one. So to me, it feels like in the beginning to hold on to the star and then build a strategy around your star when you know you're going to probably either eventually get thrown into elimination or it's going to get stolen from you from someone else. Like it just, to me, doesn't feel like it makes sense to put so much stock in the stars at the start of the game. Like I would be fine if it were me getting my star stolen. Like would I want to go into the elimination? No, but like steal my star. I don't care. Like I can try and get it back later. It's not the end of the world. But like, I don't know that I would make a bigger target of myself by aligning with the other people that have stars and making people have a reason to come for me. I just don't, I think we're doing a little too much with the stars a little too early. We should just like maybe have seen how it was going to play out.
That's fair, actually. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it that way, but you're right. It does seem very early on to start to create an alliance around something that can change hands so easily. I guess for me, the way I was thinking of it is that if you align yourself with people with stars, I saw it as more like let me align myself with other people who are strong in this competition who will probably keep winning. So that's kind of how I was thinking about it. But you actually make a really great point that why make new enemies and align yourself with people with stars when you can easily lose that star, you know? And that's kind of
I almost would rather and I would almost rather see them align themselves with people who aren't winning, who are likely to end up in the middle, because those are the people that are voting. So like I mean, you can't really tell at the end of the day, but like if you're seeing a trend, for me, I don't want to be with other strong. I do want to be with other strong people, don't get me wrong, and have them have my back if they can get in a position of power. But I don't want to only align myself with people that are going to win, because then you don't really, it's like you don't really have the power in that case. Like you want to be with the middle pack, who's not going to vote for you.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that would be, you're right. That probably would be the best way to approach it. But like you said, it is hard to gauge who's going to be in the middle, because every challenge is different. But yeah, I think that would be a good way to approach the game as well. And I think that's kind of what we were talking about at the beginning, that like sometimes maybe you'll try to be in the middle and not win just so you'd have the ability to vote. So you have almost the most power in that position, because there's so especially
few
if you have a
votes,
star already. If you have a star already, you might as well.
And if you have a star, Right. And like, I think Rachel being aligned with Veronica and Tina is, well, Tina, we'll see, but like is good for her because like it's not really likely that they're gonna win. So if Tina had the right kind of influence and was good at the game, I think that could have been really good for Rachel. Obviously it was not, but I think, and which we'll talk about, but I do think there's probably more merit to that than being in with Cara, because if you're in with Cara and they see the two strongest women in the house working together, what happens in the next episode is bound to happen. Like that's just, it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, why not put the two strongest people that have stars up against each other? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so we see that they make their little alliance, Rachel and Cara, and then we move on to the deliberation. And right away we see what we keep on talking about here. People want to help out Cam. Cam is saying, listen, look out for me, guys. Ayana said she wanted to target me and Leroy, so we got to get her out. And everyone pretty much rallies behind her except for Cara Maria. Cara is the only one who says,
"Shitty boots."
Cara right away gives her, me and Rachel are gonna try to work together because we want to stay, the people with stars want to work together. And she decides to vote the way she wants to vote, while everyone else votes Ayana and Rachel. And Cara decides to vote Ayana, and I forgot who's the other person she votes.
I forget who she voted for. Yeah, I forgot.
Ayana and Flora. So she voted for Ayana and Flora for the women.
Oh yeah.
So my question for you is so at this point, everyone, the people going in were going to be Ayana and Rachel anyways, right? So do you think that it really matters? Do you think that Cam should have been as mad as she was at Cara for not voting in Rachel as well? Because she did vote in Ayana. She just didn't vote in Rachel. So I
do think she should have been mad at Cara, because I think for the same reason, Rachel's going in anyway. Your vote doesn't make a difference here. So just do it, because you're drawing a line in the sand of like, I care more about Rachel than I care about you. So I'm sticking with Rachel. So that to me shows Cara's cards way too early. To someone like Cam, who has a lot of influence in the game, like just do what Tina does in the next episode. The vote doesn't matter anyway. Just do it. Like why put yourself in a worse position than you need to be in with other people when this person's going to go in anyway?
Yeah. But look at it this way. This is how I thought Cara was thinking about it. So Rachel's going in anyways against Ayana. My thought process would be like, Rachel's probably going to beat Ayana, and then Rachel could take my star and give it to someone else. So why piss off Rachel when I don't have to? I think that's how I was trying to understand what Cara was doing, if that makes sense. Like she probably thought, okay, Rachel's gonna win. If she hears that I vote her, she's gonna know I don't have her back, and then she's gonna take my star and give it to someone else. So I honestly didn't think it was that bad of a move in the end, just because of who Rachel was against. If Rachel was against someone who, that's how I was looking at it, and that's how I hope Cara was looking at it.
Yeah,
I think your point. Your point also makes a lot of sense.
I think if you're in this situation and you're good socially and strategically, you can clean the mess. Well, yes, that's the problem. She has a very terrible personality that people don't seem to love, myself included. I don't know her personally, but on TV, I can't stand her. So like, I can only imagine how amplified that is in person. So I can understand why maybe she's not the best at smoothing out situations, because she's annoying as hell. But I do think if you are a person that's good at having conversations with people and making connections, which again, questionable, you should be able to clean this up after the fact and be like, listen, Cam has too many people. You were going in anyway. Like, I still have you. I'm never going to be the one that says your name. And if it made a difference, I wouldn't have voted that way. I mean, like Tina did it, I just, and that's like Rachel's best friend. It just feels like, why put yourself in a position where you're going to make more people mad at you when Rachel could potentially go home? Like, you're really putting your neck out there for someone who could have gone home. We don't know what the elimination is. And like I was saying before, like Ayana is strong. She's a strong woman. It could be like, it was a strength competition and she did lose, but like there is a chance that maybe she would have won. So it just feels to me like it was way too messy on Cara's end, because Cara wasn't going in and Cam wasn't going in. So to me, I'm sticking with the person who I know is going to be here instead of the person who might not come back.
Fair
you
enough.
Can fix it. It's fixable. Yeah. You're going in anyway. What fucking difference does it make?
Fair.
Now you made an enemy out of Cam.
Yeah, now Cara made an enemy out of Cam, which we'll see come back to bite her in episode 4. But yeah, so Rachel and Ayana are the women voted in. And then there's not much conversation about the men. It's a double elimination. We get Kefla and Cyrus voted in. I mean, sucks for Cyrus that he really is in a shitty position. He just came in and he's already thrown into elimination.
I know.
It's unfortunate. Any thoughts on that elimination? I feel like there was no conversation.
No, it is unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was shocked to see a double elimination for the third elimination. Like, it feels like girls are dropping like flies on this show because we had, the first one was a guys, but then we had a girls and then a double where there's a girls and then another girls elimination. It just feels like we're losing the women. But I was it felt really early for me. But no real thoughts on it. I mean, shout out to Cyrus. You tried.
Yeah, poor Cyrus. Maybe he'll win.
Yeah, maybe next time.
All right, so we could jump into the arena. So they're playing a game called Down the Tube, where players begin in opposite sides of the tube, and there's like a large ball in between them. And essentially, it's pretty simple. Whoever pushes the ball out of the other end wins. And you have to do that twice to win, and you win and then you win the challenge, and then you're able to take someone's star. So first off, we have Kefla versus Cyrus. I mean, from jump, I'm like, Cyrus is at a huge disadvantage. Like, Kefla is a big dude, and he kind of demolishes Cyrus. I mean, it was pretty rapid elimination, and I felt sad.
Me too. Like I said, I really like Cyrus. But listen, it wasn't his day. What can you do? His literal day. Wasn't his 24 hours.
And then we got a funny little Kefla gets like a cramp at the end, and he starts to like twerk in the arena, and everyone's laughing. It was a funny little moment there from Kefla to get rid of a cramp. Twerk. So that's what happens.
No, it's a good strategy.
Listen, if you ever get a cramp, Katie, now we have a solution.
Yeah, now we know what to do. Yeah.
So yeah, Cyrus goes home, and then we move on to the next challenge. Or the next elimination, which is Ayana versus Rachel, which is the main event, what we're all here for. Right away, Ayana calls out Cam, which was crazy to me. She like basically says, Cam, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't believe I'm down here, but if I come back, essentially, I'm coming for you. And I was just laughing. I was like, Ayana is a ballsy woman. Yeah, she is. It's a choice. It is a choice. It's a choice. Yeah. So then we get to the challenge, and I agree. I from at the beginning, I thought that Ayana had a chance of winning, just because it was a very strength-based challenge. But pretty much what happens is that she kind of tires out, and Rachel gets the better strategy of waiting for Ayana to tire out, and then Rachel just pushes her out the other end, and Rachel ends up winning. Any thoughts there on? I think against anybody else, Ayana would have had a better chance, but I think Rachel, to me, I don't know what her career is, but I know obviously she's done these workout videos. I assume she has something to do with like physical training or something athletic. She seems to me to have a very good understanding of like strength and how to use your body in the right way. So I just feel like she knows how to like maneuver and keep her strength and her whatever I'm trying to say, like not tire out, her endurance and whatever. So I think she's a tough one. I think this was an elimination that was probably made for her. I think anybody else that would have probably suffered the same fate against Rachel, I would assume. Yeah. But I think Ayana against anybody else had a shot. Yeah, I agree. So Rachel wins and Kefla wins. So Kefla doesn't have a star, so he gets to take a star, and he decides to take Brad's star. I think that it was smart. Yeah, Brad was feeling some type of way about it. He was. And I think that was smart. Brad is a strong competitor. He's done well on the Challenge All-Stars. So make him not have to go back down there and get his star, So I think Kefla did a smart move taking Brad's star. I think so too. I think it's like, okay, we're feeling it out. We're understanding what the game is like now. Now it's okay, I think, to start like making some moves here with the stars. So I'm glad that he did that. I think you should want to have the strong people more vulnerable in the end. Like I don't want to see the strong people at the end all have stars and everybody's afraid to go for them. And then like they all they have to do is win one elimination at the end of the day and they keep their star. Like, let's make them fight for it. I'm into it. Agreed. We got the first two softer ones out of the way. Like, let's now we keep it moving. Really soft for Tina. It didn't even happen. Yeah. And then Rachel, so when you win, you have to take a star, which interesting twist. I guess is a good twist because it makes things messy. So I kind of like it. How do you feel, Katie?
I liked it too. I felt like TJ was like, you can take a star. And she was like, do I have to? And he was like, yes. And I felt like the rule was a little unclear until she asked the question, which I thought was weird. But I like it. I like it.
Yeah. And we see Rachel, she decides to take Tina's star and give it to her other bestie, Veronica. And then we get a DR of Cam saying Rachel's playing a scared game. She should have taken Kara's star and given it to someone else. Do you agree with Cam? Do you think that Rachel's playing a scared game?
I don't know that she's playing a scared game, but I don't agree with, again, like the strategy of keeping the strong people having the stars. Exactly what happens in the next episode was bound to happen if you keep giving the strong people stars. So give it to someone, take it from a strong person, give it to someone who is an easy beat in an elimination, and then you'll probably stay out because someone's going to want to go for like and no shade to Jasmine, but like give it to a Jasmine, give it to a Veronica, let Tina keep it. People will much rather go in against those people than you. So it's almost like you should want to be the only strong person with a star, in my opinion. Like if I'm a strong competitor, which I'm not, I wouldn't be, I would want to be the one with a star because people would be scared of me. And everybody else around me, I want to be the weak bitches that everybody's not scared of, because then I'm safe, in my opinion.
I agree.
I would much rather go in against Jasmine or even like an Avery, I feel like, than a Rachel.
Yeah, I think that would be the smart play. But I do think in this instance, I feel like if Cara would have voted in Rachel, she would have lost her star. So I do think that it ended up working out for Cara to not vote in Rachel in this instance, because then
for Cara, I think it worked out.
So it ended up working out for
Cara.
Cara.
It worked out, yeah.
But I do agree with you in the long run. That is the better play, and we actually see in episode 4 someone does do that play. And we'll talk about that now as we jump into episode 4. Perfect segue.
Yeah.
So we're on to episode 4, which just aired yesterday, and we kind of start with Nicole talking to Cam about Cara. So this was a little confusing for me, but like we have like Nicole ratting Cam. Who was Nicole ratting out to who? I forgot.
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
So Nicole was talking to Cam. Yes, I have it on my notes here. So Nicole was talking to Cam and saying, kind of like reinforcing the whole concept that Cara doesn't have your back, that Cara's working with other people, and that you should be wary of Cara. Nicole playing the rat game here, which is smart. Like I keep saying, I would want to align myself with Cam if I had to be in this house. So
me too. And Nicole is just a rat in general, so I'm not surprised.
Unsurprisingly, right?
She just is a rat. Yeah. Rat is what rat does. Yes.
So that happens, but I don't have any other notes from before the actual daily challenge starts. Do you have anything to talk about before then?
No, I actually didn't take any notes on this episode.
Yeah.
But I have them in my brain. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I don't think anything really else happened before we jumped into the challenge. So we could just jump right into it. This one is called Unbraided Reloaded. So this was an interesting challenge. This might be my favorite.
Names.
The names are weird, or too many, or too.
Yeah.
But I did think the challenge was interesting to watch. Minus of course, as we talked about, they love their moving vehicles. So everyone is on this moving truck. They're paired in 4 teams of 5 with 2 teams competing at a time. And essentially the teams are suspended from a rope, and you have to untangle yourself. And then you have to complete like one of those, I don't know what those puzzles are called, but those puzzles where you kind of like move.
Yeah, like that like type of maze puzzle, thing. I don't know.
You have to reach the end of that. And then the team that does it the fastest is the winning team. And they get to eventually, if they want to go down for a star, whoever finishes the fastest, the 2 teams in the middle are the safe team, one team in the middle is the safe team that gets to vote in. And then there's 2 bottom teams. So what were your thoughts on this challenge minus the moving vehicle, which we know your thoughts on that part of it?
Yeah. I thought it was fine. It was like a little bit confusing to watch because it was just like bodies on top of each other. Yeah. And it was a little hard to follow. But it was entertaining. It was entertaining. Another one that I would not have wanted to participate in.
I actually would have liked this one. I think from all four, this would be the one, just because it just seems fun. The whole like, I don't know, it just seemed fun to me. I'm not a big adrenaline person, but like something about being all tangled up and then having the puzzle aspect of it too. I don't know. It seemed interesting to me. So I think from all four of the challenges would probably be the one that I would want to be actually involved in, surprisingly. No, I think I would win. No, but I would like to be part of it.
Or maybe you'll get in the middle so you could vote.
Exactly. Which is where I would want to be all the time. So
yeah,
except after I get my star, of course, I want to get my star first.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got this challenge. The winning team is the pink team, and that team consists of Cam, Laurel, Steve, Ryan, and Derek. They do it the fastest. The middle team ends up being the red team, which is Brandon, Tina, Jasmine, Avery, and Jay. And then the bottom teams are the orange and the green teams, and we learned that it is a female elimination again. And the women up for elimination are Rachel, Veronica, Nicole, Flora, and Cara.
Yeah, this is a rough shout for Rachel.
Yeah. This is very bad for Rachel. Like a bunch of her friends
are
up for elimination with her, and she already kind of has a target on her back. And then Cara has a target on her back now because of what she did with Cam before. So I feel like the writing was in the stars for this episode, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, those are our bottom contenders. And then we can move on to the time after the challenge. So we move into the challenge, and for the first time really this episode, we get a real conversation between Nicole and Laurel. This is going to be an overarching team, so we're going to have to keep talking about it. But Nicole and Laurel finally try to talk a little. And they basically have a conversation in the bathroom, and they're basically saying that Nicole's basically saying like she hasn't had time to really process everything. They don't talk that much, but they do kind of like touch upon that. Any thoughts again about these two? Do you think they're actually going to become friends by the end of this?
I mean, I have no thoughts. Nicole, like I said, gives me the ick. And there was like a scene, I guess, where she was sitting on, I don't know if it was a cabinet or something, and Laurel like went in the cabinet, like between her legs. She's like, oh, too close. And then she put the towel on, and I was like, I'm gonna puke. I'm just gonna like, this girl grosses me out so bad. And her personality is just like, to me. Laurel, stand up. Please stand up. You could do so much better. There are better women out there. Yes. Please. This woman is a fuck boy, basically a fuck girl. I don't know, whatever. But like you don't need her. You don't need her. Keep it moving.
Agreed. Yeah,
there's got to be even like better women in a house. Well, Rachel's married, but still like, come on.
Yeah. I agree. Like, Laura, we got to move on from this.
Yeah, no, we can't. Love yourself.
I feel like I'm gonna say the one thing I have to say is I feel like I'm already over it. But definitely by the end of this season, I'm going to be sick. I never want to see these two on a season together again if this was going to happen.
No, I can't.
I'm already at that point, but by the end, I definitely will be beyond that point.
Yes. It's just also crazy to me that they can go from like the first episode being like, I can't even be in the room with this person. And now it's like, I can't. Yeah. I don't want it. I want to return it. Take it back. Yeah, please.
All right, so then we move on to we see some conversation between Jazz and Tina again. So we get Tina is in the voting group, remember everyone, and two of her best friends are in the bottom, Rachel and Veronica. So Tina's basically, again, trying to strong arm Jazz and saying, Jazz, we cannot vote in Rachel and Veronica, blah, blah, blah. And again, we cut to Veronica in a DR saying this is going to backfire on her.
Yeah.
Unless it's probably going to go in. And unsurprisingly, that is what ends up happening.
Yeah. Veronica was really funny in this episode.
Tina, this episode.
Tina's just a mess. I mean, there's like a way to do this, and this is not the way from Tina, like Jasmine is feeling like, Rachel and Veronica aren't going to save her over other people. But to me, I do feel like there could have been an opening there. Like Tina could have tried to broker a deal here. And she was just like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like she wasn't doing anything. This was not good work from Tina.
Yeah, I think Tina after the season needs to work on her politicking skills, as they call it, for the next time she's on the challenge. Veronica, give her some tips, girl. That's your best.
Yeah, yeah. She needs to run a course.
Yep. from there, we cut to Cam, and Cam is now plotting against Rachel and Cara. And she basically plants a seed to Jasmine and Brandon and Avery, and essentially says, guys, I think we got to take a shot. We got to put the 2 star holders in and let them duke it out. They're the strongest women in the house. No one else wants to go against them, which I thought was genius. I mean, shout out to Cam again. She ate that. Like, I agree. Cam had a great strategy there. Any thoughts there, Katie?
No, I love every second of it. Like this is when I was like, I need to see Cam on Big Brother. Like I want to see her take down a big alliance. I want her to go for the strong guys in a Big Brother season. Like this, I loved this from Cam, and I like that she's like, all right, it's time to make a move. Like we have to make a move, and everybody's just listening to her, and I love it.
I thought it was funny how like quickly, because it's, again, we'll talk about this, but like Jazz and Brandon seem to be friends with Cara. But
yeah,
like, listen, I support Cam 100%. I thought what she did was amazing, but I didn't feel like Cam had to push that card. She kind of just
like
said,
not at all. Yeah.
By the way, I think we should just do this, and they were just like, actually, yeah, let's do it. Like, but I thought this was your girl Cara, so
right. It's a little rough.
That was what threw me off a little. How like easily they were convinced, or you know.
I think they probably see the writing on the wall, and like I think at this point, it feels like people are separating into like, okay, you're really good at this game, or like you're just here for a good time. And if you actually want to win the game, you got to get the people like Cara and Rachel out. So for them, even though they're friends, like it's a win-win for one of those two to leave. And especially because there's one winner. Like even Brandon was like, yeah, I bet on Cara before I bet on myself. Like I think she's my friend, but she would beat me and I want to win. So I'm not mad. I like this. I don't want to see vacation alliances and Nani and Casey and Tori and Anissa up each other's asses. Like I want to see friends turn on each other. That's what I want to say. So I'm happy that we're getting it.
Yeah, no, I'm also happy that we're getting it as well. It sucks that it's at the expense of Cara, but it is what it is. I'm here for the good TV at the end of the day.
I'm good with it.
And yeah, like you said, Brandon is 100% correct. This is a one winner season. Like I don't want to be up against Cara or Rachel at the end. So you have your chance to take the shot, just take it.
Yep.
But then we cut to Cara confronting Brandon, and Cara basically asked Brandon, and I think Jay was in the room too, but Jay was minding his business. But Cara's basically like, hey Brandon, so who are we voting for, or who are you voting for today? Are you voting me in? And Brandon says, oh, we haven't even talked about it yet. We'll talk about it eventually. Clearly Brandon is lying, and he's not very good at this lying thing.
He's
very
lying.
bad at lying, by the way. So he needs to work on that. And it cuts to Cara's DR saying, I don't feel good about this, obviously. Any thoughts on this little interaction here besides that Brandon's a terrible liar?
No, Brandon's definitely a terrible liar. It's funny that Jay was just like steaming his shirt, ignoring.
I would have done the same thing though. I'd be like, it's not my business. It's not
I would have been like, I'm thirsty, or like whatever. I would have left the room. But I do think this is another thing that annoys me about Cara, is that she has this sense of, and it'll get worse, sense of entitlement, where she's like talking to Ace and I guess Rachel, and he's like, I hope it's not you guys. And she's like, I'll go ask. I don't care. And I'm like, oh God, you're so fucking annoying. So she just like barges in. It's like, why do they owe you anything? They don't really. But it just, I mean, it escalates from here with Cara. So I don't want to like blow my Cara hate load too fast, because I have so much in me right now that I could just like scream about. So I'll wait.
Maybe Cara won you over this season.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. So then, so we have that. Cara's basically knows that Brandon is lying to her. And then we cut to the deliberation. It's pretty quick deliberation. Brandon actually starts it. It was funny. They tell Tina to vote, and Tina's like, oh, I'm not voting.
Tina's crazy. I know.
Everyone keeps telling her vote, and she's always like, I'm not voting. It's like, come on, we know what you're doing here, Tina.
I know. I don't really blame her for wanting to go last, because it's like, okay, if your vote doesn't matter. See, this is one where I do feel like she didn't have to do this. I think it would have been better if Cara did it to save face with Cam. She didn't have to save face with anybody there. She could have just been like, you know that Rachel's my girl, so I'm not going to say her name, and just like threw the vote. But for some reason, she didn't do that. I was really expecting her to do that. I think in the other situation, it was worse because Cam wanted a specific outcome. It just, Tina's wild.
Tina is here for the ride. I don't know, but it was great.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get this, essentially everyone wants to vote in Cara and Rachel. And then at the end, Tina ends up voting along with the majority, voting for Cara and Rachel. The only person who doesn't vote for one of them, I think, is Jay. He doesn't vote for Cara.
Yeah, he doesn't want to vote for Cara.
Laura, I think. But it didn't matter because we still got Rachel and Cara as the two nominees into the arena. So we cut to them putting their names up, and Cara is having a meltdown. She's just very sad and tearing up, and she goes up to Brandon and she's like, why did you vote me in? You didn't have to. She goes up to Jazz saying, why did you vote me in? You didn't have to. I thought we were friends, etc., etc. Any thoughts on this little Cara fit?
Jasmine ate her up
for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and again, it's like she didn't miss a beat. She didn't blink.
It's like effortless for Jasmine. That's
why
it is
effortless.
I love when someone can just clock effortlessly. She doesn't even have to raise her voice. She's like, listen, it's a game at the end, you know?
Exactly. And this is exactly what I cannot stand again about Cara, is that she acts like she's above the game. And everybody said that, like, she's so entitled. She's acting so entitled. You have a star. You are very strong. You're clearly in something with Rachel. You're both in the bottom. What do you think is going to happen here? This is part of the game, and you can't cry and boohoo and whatever and act like a victim of, like, you're getting bullied and your friends turned against you. This is the game. You should know this. You've played the game 8,000 times, and every single time you act like if someone goes against you, I don't remember if it was War of the Worlds or what season, but Cam threw her in or something, like, or threw something at her, and she got so mad at Cam. And it's like, why do you think you're above everybody and that you're not going to get shit thrown at you? I just don't understand why you could do it to everybody, but they can't do it back to you. And that's the shit that drives me crazy about Cara Maria. Like, she doesn't live in reality.
Listen, you said what you said.
I did. I did.
What I will say on Cara is that I think she is very reactionary. And she doesn't necessarily always think before reacting. And I feel like if I thought I was friends with someone and they played me, I would also be a little annoyed. So I'm gonna give Cara a little bit of leeway there. I do think that sometimes Cara can come off as I'm gonna say abrasive as a member of the Cara Maria Hive.
Yes, I think that's fair. Nicely.
But I also do understand a little bit of being annoyed when you think someone is your friend and then having them kind of backstab you. But it's all part of the game at the same time. So
right.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Cara. It's hard for me.
I know. I know. I think it's like, I get it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you put yourself in this position.
I did.
Be the Cara defender.
I can let go of Cara. It's true. I shouldn't.
There's, Cam is right there. Javier. She's right there. I know.
I always root for the bad bitches, and those are two amazing women in this house.
Yes, so Cam is definitely a bad bitch. Cam is a bad bitch. That's all I'm going to say on that. But no, I agree that I would be annoyed. I think there's a way to handle it. And I don't think Cara, I'd be like, fine, send me in and I'm going to come back and I'm going to take your ass right out. So do whatever you want. You want to come for me? Come for me. I'm going to come right back for you. But she's like, why? And then I'm just like, oh my God, I can't, why are we crying? Like, I just don't understand what's happening
the water
here.
Is too much.
It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's a game. This is part of the game. This is, and you should expect it. At this point, because you have a star, like you should expect it.
Yep. Yeah. So we had that moment with Cara, and then we
cut many more moments with Cara. It's not over.
It's not over. It's not.
It's not over. It's never over. Is the problem?
It's not over.
It's not over.
We got a short little snippet of Rachel confronting Tina and saying, "Oh my God, Tina, I couldn't believe you voted for me." And she's saying she's mad at her, and Tina just says, "I'm sorry, but just go out there and come back."
Yeah.
It was a pretty quick little spat.
Yeah.
I understand also, Rachel. I'd be a little annoyed when my best friend who didn't have to say my name said my name.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. So this one makes no sense. Like you have real life loyalties to this person. It's very easy for you to be like, I'm not going to do that. You guys do that. I'm not going to participate. Tina, I don't know. She's in a different world.
Definitely. All right. So now we can move on to the arena. It is called Star Slice. Very dangerous challenge. But this one is pretty easy to explain though. Yeah. So essentially they have there's a giant like dartboard, but they're using throwing stars as if they were ninjas.
Yes.
And you basically have to, there's 3 pictures of Cara, there's 3 pictures of Rachel on the board, and the first person to hit the other person's pictures, or you can also hit your own. So the first person to lose all 3 of their pictures loses the challenge. And then there's some little like advantages and disadvantages on it. Like there's one advantage that Cara gets eventually where you can move 5 steps forward, so you're closer to the board, makes it easier to throw. Then there's one where you have to like throw it on 1 foot, and there's a few little advantages and disadvantages there. But all in all, it's just basically throwing these stars and hitting your opponent's face 3 times, and then you win.
Yeah. I like this elimination. It was fun.
I agree. This was probably the most fun one for me to watch, just because it was like, it's like entertaining just to see how bad they were sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm pretty bad at darts too, I'm not gonna lie. So I would not want to play this challenge. But it was fun to watch, and just everyone was laughing, and there were times where they were like throwing it over, and even TJ was getting involved. He's like, guys, watch out. TJ's laughing, and I always like when TJ gets on the
Me
fun.
too. Yeah.
So it was fun to watch challenge, at least.
It was. In the beginning, I will say, because as they go down, Cara's still yapping, and she says something to Brandon and Jasmine, and they both start at the same exact time going back at Cara, and Brandon goes, I haven't seen you in 8 years. And that made me laugh so hard. I was like, he's like, you haven't called me for 8 years. I was like, oh, that is so, I don't know why it was so funny to me, but it really just killed me. It killed me, especially with Jasmine like also talking at the same time. Really just made me laugh.
It was really funny, yeah. And then Jasmine is just standing up there like, girl, I did what I did for the game. And then she says, I didn't write the exact quote, but I thought it was so funny. She basically is like, focus on what you're doing instead of on me. And the way she said it was just so effortless. And Cara just went like, oh, like Cara herself was gagged. She was like, yes, okay, let me focus. Let me stop talking to Jasmine. She's going to beat me up.
Yeah, I know. Learn your lesson. Don't come for Jasmine.
So yeah, that was definitely funny seeing Brandon and Jasmine eat up Cara.
Yeah, oh my God. And they just like, it felt like they both started talking at the exact same time. Like they both reacted at the same time. I don't know. Something about it was just, it was beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. It was very funny. We also got a really funny DR from Kefla. He goes, it looks like Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles are competing. They're just throwing these things
all
to the side
over the place.
It's like comical.
Yeah, it was funny.
They even add like the cartoon, like when you miss, like when the cartoons miss a shot or something, they added that whenever they would miss. So it was just like they made it funny. I enjoyed it.
They had fun with this one.
Yeah, exactly. Interestingly, just some things that happened. Cara hits herself first. So I was shocked. She hits her own picture. So that gives Rachel a point. Like I mentioned, Cara eventually gets she gets a disadvantage where she has to like step on 1 foot. But then she gets an advantage eventually where she gets 5 feet closer. Cara eventually hits one of the Rachel hits one of the Cara pictures. And then honestly, Cara eats the rest of the challenge up, and Cara beats Rachel. She gets her 3 pictures first, and Cara wins and is returning back into the house. Katie, besides being unhappy, what are your thoughts?
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm a hate watcher, so I'm happy to be a hater for as long as Cara Maria is in this house. If Cara Maria has 100 haters, I am 1. If she has 1, it's me. If she has none, I'm dead.
Left this world.
Yeah, I've left this world. I'm no longer here, and I'm committed. I am committed to hating Cara Maria for as long as she's with us on this season. So I'm seated.
I will say this. I was sad to see Rachel go. I think she was a strong competitor.
Me too.
But I do think for the sake of drama on the show, I am more interested in Cara going back in to see her beef with Jasmine, because I know Jasmine will continue to eat her up.
And Cam too. I want to see Cam.
Oh yeah, and Cam too. So I think
I want to see
Cara adds a more interesting dynamic than Rachel does. And honestly, I'm very scared for Tina and Veronica right now.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Their shield has left them. Their meat shield. So yeah, we'll see how long they stick around.
Exactly. And then so Cara wins, so she takes Rachel's star and she has to give it to someone. And this is where Rachel, we get, for once, I think Katie might have to agree with Cara's thought process here. Cara basically saying, should I give it to one of the strong women or should I give it to one of the easier women to beat? And makes them, again, a Stargate, as she calls it. She decides to give it to Jasmine because she thinks Jasmine is a weak competitor. And do you agree with this?
Unfortunately, I have to, because I said earlier that this would be my strategy. And as much as I can't stand Cara, I do think that this was the right decision, because if you're a strong person, And if I want a star, I'm not going to choose to go against Cara Maria. I am going to choose to go against Jasmine. So,
yes.
you know, I would have loved for her to give it to Laurel and then have Laurel kick her ass out with the next. I do think Laurel would beat her in an elimination. They probably have gone up against each other. I don't even know, but you know, not today. We're not going to see it right away. Maybe we will see it for some other reason.
There's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I will say this: our girl Cam disagrees with you, Katie. She says that we got a DR of Cam saying that Cara should have given it to someone strong, actually. And you know, like I don't agree with that, and it seems like you don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
But that is Cam's thought process on the stars. So interesting to hear that from Cam.
I don't know, Cam. I don't see it.
I think when Cam gets a star, she's going to change her mindset.
I think so too.
But we'll see. I can't imagine the season where Cam doesn't get a star because Cam is very important to the season. She's one of the star players. So I'm hoping that Cam does get a star eventually and is able to run this final.
I'm assuming that she's going to at least get a star. I don't know, at some point, whether she keeps it or not, who knows? But I mean, I hope she gets one. She's got to carry her man across the finish line. So, yeah.
We don't need some backpacking.
Yeah. Yeah. I disagree with Cam, but we'll see. I think you're right. I think eventually she'll probably change her mind once she gets a star.
Yep. All right. So that wraps up episode 4. We made it to the end of these 4 episodes. So any final thoughts, Katie? Anything you're excited for moving forward for this season? Anything you want to see besides Cam getting a star, which is what we both want to see?
Honestly, no. I'm more thinking about things I don't want to see anymore. Like, I don't want to hear Stara Maria. I don't want to hear Stargate. I don't want to hear any of that ever again. And I don't want to see Laurel and Nicole. And I know we're going to get more of that. So like, those are the things I don't want. And I know that they're just going to be continuously handed to me in each episode until maybe they're all gone. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they won't be gone. They'll be with us the whole season. Who knows? But I'm excited for Cam and Leroy. I want to see more of them. I want to see more Jasmine. She's giving me life. Brandon's been really fun over the life. I think I was like indifferent on him in the beginning, and now I'm really liking what I'm getting. So like, I think we're gearing up for some more fun stuff. I'm ready for more men to leave. We lost too many women, so I'm ready for some men to get out of here.
Yeah. Why wasn't Janelle replaced? Tony was replaced.
Great question.
Give me another female competitor.
That's a great question. Because they just could have just not made it a double elimination.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, what the hell? Why wasn't Janelle replaced? That's a good point.
Get it together.
What about you? What are you excited to see?
I'm excited to see the Cara versus Cam. I think it's going to be the ongoing story for the season. And I'm going to parallel this to another season of reality TV that people will also are very polarized on. It's Big Brother Canada season 5. I was rooting for both Ika and Netta, and this is essentially I'm in the same point. Everyone is team Ika, who in this situation is Cam. Everyone was against Netta, but I was team both because I just want the two who I think are the best competitors to compete against each other. So that's what I'm excited to see personally. And I'm excited to see more Brandon. He's been interesting to watch.
Yeah,
excited to see more Jasmine. Not excited for Nicole and Laurel. Hopefully we get that split up ASAP.
Yeah, one of them's got to go, and I hope it's Nicole because I love Laurel. But I don't want Laurel. I don't want this for Laurel.
I will say one thing. I think that my sleeper pick to make it very far and win is actually Avery. I think we might see Avery in the final.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think Avery actually has a really good shot of winning, even if she doesn't make a lot of alliances. Just something about Avery is giving me very like, she's going to be a good competitor. She has a star. She won with Adam another challenge. I don't think anyone's really going to want to go against Avery, and I think she can compete with the Laurels and the Caras of the house. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
But other than that, Katie, we can wrap up then if we have no other thoughts.
Yeah.
Let people know where they can find you, Katie.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. And I will be back. Took a little bit of a hiatus from some of the Big Brother coverage because I had some work travel, but I'll be back this week talking Big Brother Canada. We're almost at the finish line. So check out everything going on Bounce Checks. Josie's doing some really great exit press. And Javier, I need to give you this news because we didn't talk about it beforehand, but did you know that Kevin Martin and Gurleen are dating? And they're going to be on The Amazing Race together.
That's why he broke up with Pili?
I don't know. But I heard yesterday and I was like, I can't wait to tell Javier because this is crazy.
That's messy as hell.
Gurleen. Yeah, I know.
I mean, they were in an alliance in the house. So
I know.
Wow. I'm shocked. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. But that's where you can find me.
Interesting. Well, thanks for sharing that. Well, maybe I'll have to watch The Amazing Race to see what they have to say about that.
I know. I would like to know the timeline.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very curious.
Timeline? Yeah.
Wow. But anyways, everyone, you can find me at _ the Starboy on Twitter, sharing all my thoughts on my favorite shows. And you can find me back here on TJ Hates Quitters. We don't know if it's going to be a weekly podcast. As you see, we dropped 4 and 1. It might be bi-weekly, tri-weekly, another 4. We'll see. This one, we're going to kind of just go with the flow. But we will finish it. Don't worry, guys. We will finish the season. But just the release schedule might be a little off. Just because life.
We're seated.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but we will be back soon with more TJ Hates Quitters. We'll see you guys then. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.